I'm ranking every strategy in BTD6 with two of the best players in the game, Dorio and Chom Chom. These guys are known for beating the hardest maps, completing crazy challenges, and making guides that help others beat just about any map. But with that, let's jump into the tier list. All right, up first, we have the Spirit of the Forest.
So this strat is not very good, in my opinion at least. It kind of falls off super hard once the number of lanes increases past 1, and even then on single lane maps it's still fairly inconsistent for the most part, just because the vines last a long time, but they also don't do enough damage to kill everything in one pass over, and that can cause a lot of issues with the price of the tower. It's like fairly consistent it's consistent enough to get black borders, but it's not like lay the tower more effectively with any micro whatsoever. Like the skill floor is super low and the skill ceiling is at that skill floor. I don't think it's a very good tower. I consider Spirit of the Forest to be one of the worst towers in the game and one of the worst strats.
Oh wow.
Out of the list we have here, it's probably one of the worst.
So you're thinking F?
I'm thinking F, but I'm also like biased toward expert maps, so it's probably not F.
We'll bump it up to a D for now, but it might move down to F.
Maybe. I'm not sure if there's real... At this point, with how much power creep there is in this game, I don't think there's really a true F tier strategy, other than like trash spam, but we don't talk about that.
One thing I like to add to Paccel defenses is a Druid of the Storm near the back. This guy's Tornado is already great for pushing back Bloons, and when you buff it with Oban and Paccel, it gets even stronger. All right, next up we have Brickell and the Sub Commander.
Okay, this strat is very good on easier maps, but harder maps it does fall off a little bit. Not quite as hard as Spirit of the Forest though. It is just a little worse. The tower, like, it's still a pretty good strat in general. So yeah, it's usually very consistent if you can use the abilities properly, and the skill ceiling is technically like infinite just because you're using Brickell and you can mind stack. In general, for black borders and just for general effectiveness, it's pretty good.
I have one random pushback about both of these. So you say both of them fall off on multi-lane maps, but I'd say from like a beginner player perspective, they would expect them to not, because we have the global vines and then global range. So what about them makes them fall off with more than one track?
With Spirit of the Forest, it's just the vines, they used to activate really fast, but it got nerfed a while back because they decided, oh, let's make it rate buffable. Now it's super, super slow vines, so it'll just target one vine will go on one lane, and then it doesn't even have two vines anymore. Just the vine won't be able to make it onto the other lane like at all, because it's going to be stuck on that one lane for a long time. Sub army, it doesn't fall off. I might have been wrong there. It doesn't fall off on multi-lane maps as much. It kind of just falls off on like experts. But if the lane count is 2 or below, it's very good. 3 or more, it kind of just gets because the subs, they don't have the greatest pierce, which you think would make them better, but also usually they're very dependent on the angles that they get. So on multi-lane maps, the angles will generally be a lot worse and you won't be able to take advantage of it as much.
Oh, I never thought about that.
They're also pretty bad at splitting attention. They'll fire at one thing, pop it down to ceramics, and then start firing at another thing, and those ceramics kill you half the time because you don't have great ceramic cleanup with subcom usually.
Gotcha. All right, so where are you thinking we should put the Sub Commander?
Sub Commander, I think overall, for general play, it's probably a good B tier strategy. It's nothing crazy above average, but it's pretty good.
Heck yeah. The beginners love to hear that.
As long as the map has water, that is like the main restriction of it. And no, Lord of the Abyss doesn't make it good because you need a lot of space, and Lord of the Abyss doesn't give you much water space.
You can fit like 7 subs in there.
Yeah, I guess. But also, the main thing with Sub Commander is that it builds into itself really easily, and with Lord of the Abyss, you're not really doing that.
That's, yeah, understandable. Okay, but with the Sub Commander, like if you're doing bottom path spam, do you stop at triple guns or APDs? Because back in the day, that was a big discussion.
I think nowadays with I haven't used this strat in a while, but from what I have used it, APDs are more cost efficient than just getting more triple guns, especially if you alch them. I think APD is just more cost efficient.
That's what we like to hear. I remember they started buffing APDs, and I don't know if they nerfed triple guns, but they were trying to make it more even because it was lopsided in like the lame direction because everyone was stopping at triple guns like 5 years ago.
Yeah, APD is decent enough now. Like, it's the most cost-efficient thing to buy. Like, if you're limited on space and you've maxed out the number of subs you can get, APD is by far the most cost-efficient thing you can get.
Good to know. I'll write that one down. For the sub-army strat, an easy way to take out the round 40 Moab is to buff one of your submarines with a 3-2-0 Alchemist in between rounds 39 and 40. This guarantees its potions to be active for the round, giving your sub a ton of extra damage. All right, the next strat we have is the classic Tack Zone Super Brittle.
Okay, this strat is just very good in general for the most part, and it's gotten even better now because Super Brittle got buffed to a stupid degree. Like, you barely even need the Tack Zone for damage anymore. Super Brittle kind of just does it, but if you combine both of them now on a single lane map or map with lanes that are very close together, it's just gonna shred. Like, it's very, very strong. But if the lanes start to get spread out more, that might be a bit more of an issue. Like, you can still very much use your Tack Zone to handle one side, and then if your Super Brittle can reach that other side, you can pair it with, like, Avenger's actually pretty good with it, or just more Tack Shooters, depending on the situation. But overall, it's pretty good as well. I'd also put this B tier, maybe A tier, just because of how easy it is to use and how consistent it is, especially for black border strats. It also builds into itself really nicely because you can afford Tack Zone with just overdrive and embrittlement. Yeah, I think it's B. You could, I see an argument for A. We'll probably do like a little bit of a shift once we've finished everything.
I noticed how strong the Super Brittle was when I was trying to get footage of Silas, and I was running, I was saving up for a double Super Brittle, and the first one was just carrying like so hard.
It's so dumb. Yeah.
I was on like a perfect map for it though. It was Ancient Portal, and I went on the left track, so it had the loop. And I had the Tack Zone, and yeah, it was just destroying the rounds. I didn't really need to add anything else, but I still did.
Yeah, even on a map like Ouch, where you have to put Super Brittle in the middle, it's still seen a lot of success with Silas, just a singular one.
Wow.
Someone did like a 100k cash spare run on Ouch with the current Super Brittle, and it's absurdly stupid.
That is crazy. Is that how Silas is getting all of the super LCCs right now?
That's how Silas is getting some of them. Silas Super Brittle Super Monkey Fan Club has all-time flooded LCC right now because Super Brittle is so broken. That was a Ryan Mahalik run that actually, as of like 40 minutes ago, it got beaten by someone else. But
sad.
With the same strat, but yeah, just Super Brittle's really good. Is this part going in the video or no?
That's up.
I was kind of just yapping a little, but
same. That's up to the editor.
Just Super Brittle's very, very powerful right now. As long as you can get ceramics to get things to pop to ceramics, and the Ice Shard chain reactions just go crazy from there. They can just win.
Oh,
it's
so the Super
good.
Brittle just takes care of the super ceramics.
Yeah, it'll kill most of them. The main thing it has problems with is popping the first thing. Once something pops to super ceramics, the Ice Shard chain reactions that they give like 15 damage now, those will just pop everything else into more ceramics, which then kill more things because of how Ice Shards works.
Nice. And then obviously the Tack Zone is really good at breaking down blimps to the super ceramic layer. Gotcha.
For sure.
It's all coming together. For any new players out there, you should try to place tack shooters below the track. This drastically increases their DPS because it'll make their tack spawn in the middle of the path, letting them all hit the balloons. And this is called the death zone. All right, moving on. We have our first, I kind of call it a meme strat, but it's basically super buffing Pat Fusty. So back in the day, Chom Chom told me about giving Pat an overclock and a stronger stim and just letting him stall blondes. And ever since then, I have loved giving him as many buffs as possible, but in my mind, it's always been a pretty bad strat. What are your thoughts?
Like, okay, doing it on its own, it doesn't do that much damage, but if you pair it with other towers that can do good damage with Pat, like, let's just say a Tack Zone, maybe like a Desert Phantom, just other like low damage towers that Pat normally synergizes well with, you're going to have a very easy time slotting in a super buffed Pat into that.
That's what we like to hear. So kind of, it's not really a strat on its own. It's kind of just like a flex spot in a bunch of other strats.
That's what I would consider it as. But the other thing is, it does fall off pretty hard if Pat isn't handling one lane. Like if you put if you're trying to handle 2 lanes with that, it's not really going to work. The stun up time on each lane is going to be halved. So yeah, it's very good for just handling 1 lane for the most part if you're using Pat.
I have no idea how to rank this one then.
It's not very good on its own, but with other things it can be pretty good. I was thinking C, maybe D tier as well.
Okay, we'll slot it in a C for now.
Yeah,
I like that.
The great tier shift will happen at some point. So
when running Pat Fusty, you might be tempted to use his hug whenever it's up, but he's one of the only heroes that his level 10 ability normally makes him worse. His hug takes out the strongest Bloon, but makes him stop attacking for the duration, so we lose his stuns and slapbacks, which is especially bad in a strat like this where we're counting on them. So try to only use his hug when there's 1 strong Bloon left, like on round 80 or the end of 97. Alright, to follow that up, we have Striker Jones, the biggest one, and Moab Eliminator.
This strat it's weird because it's without micro, it's only really good on like a select few maps. But if you start deciding, yeah, I'm gonna micro the mortar, it's very good on every map.
Oh.
Because of how much they've buffed biggest one recently. But looking at this from like a more casual perspective, more mid-range perspective, you are going to get some fairly good value out of it, but it's not going to be anything crazy.
Okay. Do you normally build the biggest one as a 5-2-0, or do you get the Bernie stuff?
With the Moab Elim, there's no real reason to go Bernie stuff, because Bernie stuff just gives it more single target damage, while going 5-2-0 kind of helps it out in more ways than just one, because it kind of attack speed on biggest one does like disproportionately well compared to any other buff on it, just because of the stuns. If you have a faster attack speed, you're getting a lot more stuns, which means you have more time to kill stuff anyway. So I think with biggest one and Moab Eliminator, if you're getting both of them, always go 5-2-0.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I almost always get Bernie stuff, but I notoriously dislike mortars, so I really only get it on ideal maps like Moon Landing, something like that.
Yeah, on those ideal maps it's really, really good. Outside of that, it can be a bit trickier to make work, but it can still provide a lot of value.
Gotcha. Yeah, one day I'll get into microing the mortar. Not today though.
I mean, biggest one micro is like the easiest micro out of any of the mortars. Out of all 3 mortars, it's by far the simplest.
Yeah, I guess you don't really have to be too precise with it.
Yeah, because it does have a very big radius.
The biggest, some say.
Okay.
All right, so with that said, where are you gonna put it?
Like for general play, it's probably B tier, but its peak is definitely somewhere around A tier. So I think yet another B tier is good, but we're gonna have to start putting some stuff in A tier soon.
That is fair. I'll put it at the top just because the skill ceiling is up there. So if you know what you're doing, it's definitely higher up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, moving on. We have the T-Rex, or at least building a strat around the T-Rex.
T-Rex strats generally are pretty powerful at a high level, but at a lower level where you're not really going to be microing it and you kind of just have to lock it in place, it is not that good because most of what makes the T-Rex good is having that global range that you can just micro to literally wherever you want on the map if you place your beasts correctly and get good intel. And a lot of the power also comes from timing the ability well, and it also pairs well with other ability towers for the most part, like Overclock. So it's very, very good at a high level, but at a lower level, it's really not that good.
I will say from my experience, anytime I lock in and I'm doing like a challenge run, I feel like it pops off. And anytime I'm just filming a video on how to use the T-Rex, I'm left wanting more. And I feel like it's exactly what you're saying. It's, can you squeeze the most out of it? Because there's a lot to get, but you have to know what you're doing. And even I do not really know how to get all of it.
I'm gonna be honest, I also don't. There are a lot better players that, like, there are a lot better T-Rex players than me. I think I've done like 2 runs with it ever. But also, if you're on a single lane map or a map that only has 1 entrance where it can still chomp everything, or if there's like a big central intersection, if it can still chomp everything at once, it can still be pretty good even in a more casual setting. Yep.
One thing I try to do is always max out the T-Rex's degree. This lets it one-shot super ceramics, and you can use its stomp to skip blimp layers. If you have the space, it's more cost efficient to merge 6 Velociraptors into a T-Rex to make it have 64 power than getting 3 other T-Rexes. Alright, next up we have Gwen and the Wizard Lord Phoenix. Where are you guys putting this thing?
Would Gwen even be optimal to use with Wizard Lord Phoenix? I feel like there'd be better heroes.
Usually when I use Wizard Lord Phoenix, it is not with Gwen, but
Yeah.
just ranking it for the Wizard Lord Phoenix in general, it's okay. Like on higher end maps, it really falls off because the ability is just too short. Like it's very slightly too short to be able to kill most rounds fully. Like it'll pop the ZOMG layer, but it won't quite finish off the insides and you die.
The one big thing I'll say about Wizard Lord Phoenix is that it matters an insane amount. Not so much on really easy maps, but once you get maps where the balloons kind of just like come in and out, it matters so much when you actually use the ability. So for black borders, it's extremely inconsistent. That makes it pretty tough with challenges, but with retry last round, it can like be worked around. So I feel like it just is extremely inconsistent on any harder map if you're using it for black borders.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
If you are not pairing it with Gwen, what hero do you normally use them with? Or do you just mix it up depending on the map?
I mean,
There's no
Geraldo's
hero-
really good with
yeah.
the rejuve, but for challenges, like expert challenges, people try to avoid Geraldo because he costs extra money, but the rejuve is really powerful.
Geraldo also can cover the downtime in other ways with genies, maelstroms, glues, and stuff. But the other hero I like to pair it with usually, if I'm using it for like an actual run, is either Psi or Etienne. Both of them can cover the downtime very well.
Yeah, I would
And
say Psi.
Wizard Lord Phoenix doesn't struggle to DDTs at all, and those heroes tend to do that. So it kind of has a little bit of a synergy there, but the only hero where you're going to have a remotely easy round 100 with Wizard Lord Phoenix is Geraldo.
So with that in mind, where are we putting this guy?
C
I
tier
feel
probably.
like, did you say B?
I said C.
I was thinking like in between C and B, but for practicality, I would say C.
Yeah, it's just not very consistent.
All right, we'll put it
Yeah.
right above super buffed Pat and see how we feel
It's
about
tricky.
it later.
Yeah, it's tricky to time it, and it has weaknesses that are very glaring.
Yeah, I feel with timing the ability, I never know when to pop it, so I just send it and pray every time.
Yeah, if you do that, it's just going to be like bogus RNG. The outcomes between using it 1 second too late is extremely different.
Yeah. The thing that also makes it very inconsistent for black borders is it's kind of hard to make it consistent where the Phoenix will spawn, because it always goes when the ability starts, it always goes to where the last Phoenix ended, I'm pretty sure. And dealing with that for like black borders can be really annoying. I've tried before.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. I did not know that's
You can
where it
make the
spawned.
ultimate Dorio guide with that.
Where it just doesn't work like 10 times over.
Yes.
I like the idea of that. All right, next up, we have Brickell and the Pirate Lord. A classic.
This is a good one.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah. With Energizer, it's like actually a chef's kiss.
Well,
Too.
with anything, it's pretty much just a chef's kiss. Like, you can pair it with a flagship as well, and it'll just start destroying everything. Like,
Yep, I'd say, would this be an S one? I don't know how many like you're gonna want to put in S, but it's easy to use and very good. And then you can also like bring the skill gap way up with mind stacking and stalling, and then it's like even better. But even without any of that, it's still pretty effective.
yeah, the main issue I'd say with it is extreme map dependence. Like, if the map doesn't have water, obviously you can't really pull it off, because getting Brickell on like round 60 isn't going to be very useful, even if you're going a Lord of the Abyss,
Yeah.
to be able to do that in the first place. But even if the map has water, you pretty much always want the boat to be firing out of both sides at once to actually maximize damage. So if you can't do that, it's kind of bad.
What is really fun though is if you get Energizer and you get you get like nearly full uptime Brickell naval tactics, and you get twice as many hooks ish, and you can like hook everything. It's really funny.
It is pretty funny.
But I love P Lord Brickell. I think it's very strong in many aspects.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. Are you thinking S?
I'm thinking A just because of the map dependency issue, but
Okay.
what do you guys think?
I was
Super
actually
Brittle will
leaning
be
S because the map dependence thing, while I do agree, you're not really going to use it on maps that it's bad, so how hard can you knock it, if that makes sense?
Yeah, fair.
I feel like for water towers, you can't say it's map dependent because there is no water, and you'd have to go Lord of the Abyss for it. I feel like that's kind of just like not really a fair way to knock it down for map dependency. So
I guess we can go S.
Heck
If you
yeah.
really want.
Bullying Dorio into an S. Let's go.
yes, yeah.
H-Bomb, you could
Adora's
literally
an
put it
apple.
into an S. You're the one with the tier list. You could put anything in any tier.
Try to
Remember that.
stop me. Chom Chom and Dorio mentioned mine stacking. This is just when you stall the rounds to place as many mines as possible, and the skill comes in where to place them. You can space them out to not waste extras, place them further up to be used early in the round, or later in the track if you want them to pop specific layers. It's one of the highest skill ceiling abilities out there, but even without maximizing this too much, she's still a great hero.
I low-key think this is not a good combination, Adora and Sun Avatar.
I think you're
I've
the
definitely used
person that gave me this strat in the beginning.
I was the one that recommended it to you.
I think as a joke, but that's the only reason I even know that this exists.
I mean, I've like used it seriously in the past, but I think just going all into Adora is better because Sun Avatar is kind of weak, and even with Adora's buff, it's not very good, and you constantly have to feed money into it. The only way to make Sun Avatar strong is with a Permabrew.
And I'm
to be
assuming it's
honest.
pretty tough to get a Permabrew while also maxing out Adora and getting
Yeah, you're not
Savatars.
using Permabrew with Adora. So I honestly think this has just like a lot of flaws, and if you're using Adora, there's just way better ways to use Adora. And
Yeah,
honestly, I feel like Adora isn't really as strong in the meta as she used to be.
I'm not going to give much of an opinion on this strat because I've used it one time ever and it was on another brick like 4 years ago. So yeah, I just remembered that one. But I haven't used this strat at all. From what I've heard, it's not very good. So yeah.
It can work on like your run-of-the-mill advanced maps and below, but it gets issues and it's kind of annoying to use and hard to use. And yeah, you have to like also consider budgeting in money to sacrifice to actually make like Adora and Sun Avatar have any powers. So I would put it at like D.
Maybe F, yeah. Probably not F, but
Yeah, not F.
So probably
Like, how many,
behind Spirit
like,
of the Forest.
F-tier strategies did you put in here?
I don't know if we have an
Are
F tier
these like all at
strategy.
least coherent? Because if all of these strategies that you put in here are at least like coherent in some way, I'd put it in F.
there is one on the entire document I'm going to argue for actual F tier, but we'll get to that later.
Ooh.
I think you could just put this one in F then, if you're going like with that.
Fair. If we only have like one true F, then they would just be put below these. And then it would be like relative to the other ones on the list. It is an F tier strat. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
The nice thing about this strategy is that when you start sacrificing monkeys to Adora to level her up, the buff extends to the Sun avatars, letting you count on it for tough rushes. That being said, it can be hard to sacrifice enough after getting a couple Savatars, so you don't always have the most flexibility with this one.
I think Dark Champion's really cool. It has one giant weakness of not being very easy to save up into.
Yeah. On easier
The
maps,
Dark
that
Knight-
is a lot less of an issue, though.
Yeah. The Dark Knight is not very good mid-game. It does like some Moab damage, but it gets Pierce capped way too easy, even on Moabs in the mid-game.
Something I messed around with this on quad. I was testing a guide. I'm not gonna do it because it was inconsistent, but Dark Knight with like a more Glaives, specifically a more Glaives, tends to work very well in the mid game, and I'm not sure why. It just does. It's usually pretty consistent, but it will fall off the second you hit like specifically round 81.
What happens there?
Super ceramic. You just can't kill them.
Yeah. I think if you can get Dark Knight, it's actually a really fun tower to use, especially with the ability to teleport anywhere. Personally, really like using Dark Knight, but it has issues with being able to save up and stuff like that. And it's an expensive save up with a tower that's not very strong in the mid game. So you need like a really strong mid game carry that's cheap.
Yeah.
So I'd honestly put it pretty low. It's a very fun tower to use, but not the most effective.
The other thing I'd like to quickly mention is that once you get the Dark Champion, you're still not done. You can't just go do something else. You pretty much need an overclock for it, or else it's just even worse, because overclock does very good on it because it's only a
Overclock
tier
is
4,
very
so
good.
it'll have permanent uptime.
We love the large save up that doesn't win you the game.
That's what we call Superstorm, or Monarch of Storms, sorry.
Monarch of the Storms. All right, I'm thinking like D.
D for Dark Champion. I agree.
Heck yeah. Because this is a tougher save up, I only go for this tower when I plan on using a super strong mid-game tower like a Bads or aircraft carrier to carry rounds 40 through 80.
This is Cripple. Oh my goodness, Cripple got absolutely murdered.
It's so mediocre now.
This tower is not good anymore. It used to be very good. It's not anymore.
Sad.
Yeah, 502 Cripple used to pretty much solo every single DDT in the entire game. Now it does not do that anymore because they have the damage. It really only has a place at this point in sniper strats, because for general debuffing it's outclassed by Super Brittle, and it mostly just works in sniper strats because you want a maim anyway, and the 34k save up isn't a big deal with snipers, but snipers are gonna show up like 3 other times, so yeah.
I mean, would you even consider F? I feel like F. Like Cripple Moab as a standalone putting in other things is
if you're building a whole strategy around the Cripple Moab, it is going to be very bad.
Yeah. Super Brittle and Glorm are just better, even if Super Brittle was its old version of Super Brittle.
Gotcha. Are you thinking worse than Adora or above it?
You put it either or.
Oh, we're going below.
Okay.
Now that the Cripple Moab isn't great at being your main DPS option, I usually only get it in other sniper strats, but that'll come up later.
Gwen and Comanche Commander.
This one's okay. This one's okay.
It's good. It's good. It's easy to use. That's a good thing.
It is. It's very simple.
Doesn't work on multi-lane maps though.
It can. If you have Pursuit, it can kind of work. It depends on the map though. Sometimes Pursuit just has a complete mental breakdown on multi-lane maps, but sometimes it can actually work.
The helis with their mental breakdowns.
This, I believe, was my first ever chimp strategy.
Ooh.
The one that got me my first black border.
First ever chimps. It was on Alpine Run with Ezili, Recursive Cluster Spam, and Archmage.
My first chimp strat also used an Archmage. What the heck? It was on the first chimps I have proof that I ever beat was Scrapyard, and it involved it was Etienne, Tack Zone, Archmage, Impale or something stupid, but it worked.
Etienne didn't exist when I started playing.
I think my first chimps guide used the Archmage, but back before I made videos, I used this strat.
First chimps guide I made did not work, and it was on Monkey Meadow, which is even funnier.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so
anyways,
the whole thing with Gwen Comanche is it'll be pretty good on single lanes. On multi lanes, it can kind of fall off. The main thing I object to with this strat is using Gwen in the first place. I think another hero that can help out with the DPS, because with Gwen or with Comanche, you're pretty often just going to be getting Glue Storm anyway, because it has very good synergy.
Yeah.
And with the +2 from Glue Storm, the +1 from Gwen is a little less meaningful, and I would rather have another hero like Etienne or something.
I mean, with Glue Storm, the whole novelty of Gwen is that you'll be able to take out the DDTs without needing MIB, but with Glue Storm, that will take out the DDTs too, and having something that will kind of more so help against round 98, I feel like is Comanche Commander's biggest weakness. If you're using Glue Storm, is going to be a lot more meaningful, but it's still pretty good. It's not a bad strategy.
That's fair.
Say B. Low B.
We could go high C tier, the C being for Comanche Commander.
Ooh.
That would work too.
Heck yeah. Because Gwen and the Glue Storm let the Com Com pop DDTs, you don't need to get a MIB. So that's an easy 8 grand saved. Just make sure Gwen is right next to the heli's base and is close to the start of the track, so she's always applying heated up to the heli. All right, next up.
This is funny. It's not good though.
This is the strat I was talking about.
This is the one I figured.
It is.
This is F
It
tier.
is a funny one. You got to get your plasma pools. What are they, 1 damage?
And they're also monkey knowledge, so you can't use them on chimps.
That's the point.
But why do you need to spam them to get the plasma pools? You can just buy 2 of them.
You're not seeing the vision, Dorio.
You have to make a grid. Have you ever seen the big grid of them? So there's a plasma pool in every intersection.
Dude, I like the ones of that, and then they play chess over the.
Yeah, and then you play chess with it. Okay, no other strategy can do that.
So can we put this in P tier for Plasma Accelerator?
In P tier. All right. Do we have any actual notes for the Plasma Accelerator spam or no?
I've never used it. I don't think anyone has used this strat seriously ever.
A few times. So I've done this before, and basically it's like I want to do something weird and something stupid, and let's just roll up with a ton of plasma accelerators. And it was actually pretty fun with Psi, but it's like nowhere effective, and it has a bunch of weaknesses and requires micro for a bunch of stuff. So yeah, it's not very good, but if you're like insane like me, you could run with it and have a fun little time.
So what I'm hearing is you have to try
spam
really
Champion.
hard to get very little out of it.
Yes.
I would rather spam Riptide Champions.
That just sounds like a good time.
No, it's very inconsistent. It's really annoying, but it's better than Plasma Accelerator spam.
This is a total meme strat, but it can be fun to break out from time to time. Just get down 2 or 3 discount villages and place as many 420 dartlings in their range as possible. They're only weak to purples, so pair them with a more glaives or something else that can pop them all and you'll be good to go.
For the next one, as I said before, without Permabrew, Sun Avatar is weak. It's just not going to be good.
Yeah, it's not great.
Sad.
I mean, do you have Permabrewed Sun Avatars in here?
It's somewhere. I think it was.
It was.
The Permabrews.
Wait,
Like,
Oh, there was a whole Permabrew section and I didn't put it in there. Oops.
All right, let's would you
Should we
put
just assume a Permabrew?
Yes, assuming
'Cause
Permabrew.
this is feasible to have Permabrew.
Yeah. I mean, I did that pretty recently on Dark Dungeons. It
That was with
pretty good.
Geraldo. That's later.
Yeah, that was with Geraldo, but really the only reason I had Geraldo was for the cape. But yeah, it's all right. On most maps, it can do the save up pretty clean. It struggles against purples, so you're gonna need something for that, like on round 95, because you can't just like, go into supers and that. But that's a kind of easy workaround, I think.
Yeah, there's always a way there. The main issue Gwen's Sun Avatar has, even though Gwen does still buff the Pierce of Sun Avatar, because that Heated Up does do that, and with Permabrew, Sun Avatar with Permabrew really just struggles to affording the Permabrew, because the main problem with that is you already have to save up like almost 20,000 to get the Sun Avatar before like round 60, and then you have to save up another 50k to get the Permabrew. It's just not fun to deal with.
It works on most maps, but it will struggle to a hard save up.
After
I think Robos with Permabrew are just better in pretty much every aspect, I think.
After you get the
I put it in,
Permabrew, do
like,
you just get more
D-tier.
Savatars or?
Yeah, you can get like 3 Sun Avatars and then like the game's just over. But
Yeah, that'll
I
usually win.
I think in
Gotcha.
like every aspect, Robos just work better with Permabrew than Sun Avatars.
Yeah,
But I'd say D tier.
Sad.
I would also say D tier.
I'm gonna put it above Dark Champion.
It's high. It's probably better, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
It's-
that. You can use a few heroes with Permabrew Sun avatars, but 2 good ones are Geraldo and Quincy. Geraldo makes the supers a little cheaper with his Worn Heroes capes, and Quincy is great because he does much more damage once buffed by a Permabrew. Alright, next up we have the Glaive Lord. No specific
This is
hero
still a
with this
pretty good
guy.
tower, right?
It's pretty good. I don't think there's much you can say that you can't really call it very bad when it still just does what it has to for the most part. It will still be a very good main DPS option.
I feel like it's also very versatile.
Oh, for sure.
I would give it like, would you put it in A?
I would put it for
I'd put it in
like
A.
black borders and consistency. It is definitely A tier. It's just a very good choice for almost any map.
Yeah, like even maps you wouldn't think a Glaive Lord would be good on, it can still work pretty well.
Yeah. Because what will happen a lot of the time is the orbitals will just take out one lane with the help of the main attack, and then no matter where the other lane on the map is, if there's a second one or multiple, the rest of the glaives will just snipe them. It'll just snipe the rest of the lanes, and will usually do pretty good.
I will say, I think Glaive Lord is my most used tier 5 ever since it pushed into the meta. Like, I feel like it just carries me every time I put it down.
Fair.
Yeah.
I haven't used it very much, but it's pretty good. A funny strat I like to do with it, this definitely works on beginner maps as well, but it also carries over very well into a lot of the expert maps, is pairing it with Gwen, so you can use the middle crosspath, because most of what makes Glaive Lord good is the attack speed from the middle crosspath. The bottom crosspath is a lot weaker, so pairing it with Gwen for the mib skip, so you can actually go the middle crosspath, is very good. And then once you have the Glaive Lord, you can just start spamming more glaives, which just works really well.
So it's a fun one.
It's fun. It's a really fun tower to use as well. I like it a lot.
It's a good A tier.
Speaking of fun
Desert
towers,
Phantom
we have the
time?
Desert Phantom next.
I actually like this tower, but has huge placement issues, and
Yeah.
Just in general, the Desperados are very, very niche, unless you're using like mid path in a very particular way. But
Yeah, which still niche, but
yeah,
the main issue I've always found with Desert Phantom is even on like if you're just using it on a multi-lane map to just handle one lane and you can completely handle the other one, a big issue I generally encounter with it is the consistency still. If it's not hitting any ceramics because of how the tower works, just I don't know the exact mechanic, but if the tower isn't hitting specifically a ceramic, like if it's not hitting a ceramic inside and it's only hitting like an outer Moab layer, it'll do very little damage. But the second it starts popping into ceramics like the Super Brittle does, it'll just kill everything. And it also pairs really well with pierce buffs, but at the same time, a lot of the time, it just won't use all of that pierce still.
Yeah, I will say,
yeah,
I think the only
like
time...
D tier.
Oh, D tier?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'd go for C just because it's pretty good if like for easier maps it crushes those so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
The
going
one
to
thing-
say. Oh, go on. Sorry.
The one thing I find really annoying is that you get a lot of attack speed if there's nothing in range of the shotgun, and sometimes that's just really, really annoying to work around. So like you have to have your placements like spread out, which is not the thing you typically want to have, like your towers pretty close and clumped together. But with this, you have to spread it out if you want to get, is it plus 45% attack speed?
like-
Yeah.
It's
I think
45 or
45%
60.
now.
Wait, no, it's 60.
Yeah.
Is it 60?
I think so.
Damn. The main, the funny thing is, since it pairs really well with Alk buff and especially Stim because of that extra pierce that I mentioned, it'll just have so much range to where you're often losing the attack speed that you gain by buying Stim, which is
Yeah.
just so cursed, but it's still better to buy the Stim because of
Yeah.
that pierce.
In my opinion, that's the reason why it would be in D tier.
But most of the time you can get around that, even on placement restricted maps, like where it's harder to deal with that. It's pretty much always possible in
Okay.
some form to deal with
okay,
it.
you can get Phantom and C.
C tier for cool mask or cool hat. Yeah.
We do like the hat. I don't really use the Desert Phantom unless I have a good amount of space, because I like to buff him with a stronger stim and a few AMDs so he has lead popping power and extra damage towards ceramics and up. And that can be tricky when working around his Wanderer buff on more cramped maps. Alright, following that, we have Geraldo and Sun avatars.
Yeah, Chom, you used this run like a week ago. You should talk about it.
Well, that was with Permabrew.
You can work in a
Two.
Permabrew.
Yeah.
Like you already put in Permabrew Sun avatars in D tier. Like in my
Yeah,
mind,
you
they're
used
kind
it.
of the same thing. Because well, if we're assuming that there is no Permabrew and you're just spamming Sun avatars, this is like kind of weak. I mean, you can put Glorman and it would work well, but I wouldn't really give it much.
Yeah, I think for the most part, for strats, we tried to not put in a bunch of images because then we'd have 400 things to rank. So we were thinking like Geraldo Sun avatars and anything you could work into it, which does kind of stink that we
Okay.
already did do Permabrew Savatats.
Yeah, so if you're doing like, I don't know, 4 or 5 Sun Avatars with like a Glue Storm, I'd probably put it in D tier too. You don't have to save up for the Permabrew, which is nice, but they still kind of are just weak because they're Sun Avatars.
Yeah.
You'll get the
I don't really know.
craziest discount ever. That's fun. Being able to discount like $20,000 towers.
Yeah,
So,
because
I'd
with
put it in
Geraldo
D tier.
Caves, you can triple discount like 9
Yeah.
Sun avatars. Even though you're never getting that many, you can still triple discount like 3 or 4 that you might get if you're spamming them for whatever.
Yeah,
reason.
that's why the robos are actually pretty good, because you can get a lot of robos in there and all for really, really cheap.
All right, we'll put it. Should I put it above the Permabrew one?
It's
No,
probably better.
Yeah, you don't have to do the save up, which is
Yeah, true.
There. When placing the dart monkeys that'll become supers, I like to put a bunch down inside the range of 3 discount villages, and if there's still space, I also put down a glue gunner and maybe some alchemists. This way, everything can be triple discounted later on, even when there's no space left after giving the dart monkeys capes. Alright, next up we have the Sky Shredder. Alright,
You
so
can, like,
anytime you
scroll
use
down, it
Sky
should be
Shredder
there.
as the main DPS.
I'd say Shredder is very good. The skill ceiling is also like infinite. Me personally, I can't really micro it that well. Some people can, and it's absurd. But even in like a casual no micro setting, very good tower for the most part.
yeah. I give it a B tier.
I think the extent of my microing skills is clicking the reverse direction
Fair.
and get slightly more out of it.
For me, it's spamming targetings when I want it to go somewhere else and hoping it puts it there.
The only ace micro I could do is center path micro, where you
I've been
take the
trying to
center
figure
path
that
and
out.
put it in. You put it in a corner, which like direction you want to push it up. So like kind of in the sense of like using WASD to like move a character around, but it's difficult and sometimes I can't really do it for very long. But
Yeah.
I don't really use Sky Shredder much because of that.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Like, even in a casual context, you can put it on pretty much any map and it'll work. The main inconsistency I have noticed when trying to make black border strats with it is sometimes on some rounds, to make it work consistently, you have to like start the round with the ace in a certain position, and that can be a little annoying to keep track of, but it should be okay for the most part.
Yeah, it definitely is a very good tower. If you can get like a good spot with it on figure 8 or figure infinite, it will do a lot of work.
Gotcha.
So I give
So
it a thumbs up.
anywhere in B?
Anywhere, yeah.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. For those that don't like ace micro like myself, I just place the ace right next to the track and set it to figure 8 or figure infinite, depending on if the track is horizontal or vertical. And if you have to place the ace really far away, centered path will work fine, but microing the ace will always get more out of it. Next up, we have the Sentry Paragon. Just kidding, the Sentry Champion.
Wait, you can get a Paragon in chimps?
Of course.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, Alk did do Dart Paragon and Tack Paragon 2 NPC on the new map, but oh well.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but okay, actual Sentry Champion, it's all right. It kind of needs a call to arms to do anything, and even then you still want to have it buffed by Pat or Gwen, but it's
I
pretty good.
like it because it's optimal with call to arms, and I think that's just really, really cool.
I'll explain it quickly because I don't think most people know why it's optimal with call to arms. The reason why it's because it increases the speed at which it places the sentries and also the attack speed of the sentries themselves. So it kind of doubles the effect that call to arms would normally have.
It's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, same
Even
thing that I
crazier with
mentioned
homeland.
earlier with attack speed on biggest one. It's like the exact same thing.
I think the coolest part is that you can sell the sentries in chimps.
True. You can also do that for another tower we're going to talk about later, but
You
this
can do
is
that
the
with
more
Geraldo.
important example of it.
The Geraldo upgraded totems. I feel like not a lot of people know that, but they
No,
give
I'm talking
unstable
about Marine.
You can
you can
sell
do
the
that.
Marine?
Yes, you can sell the Marine.
Whoa.
That's not relevant though. I'll talk about that one later because it's really funny. Yeah, Sentry Champion, being able to sell the sentries in chimps, the main time I've done it before is on round 100 insides. You can just spam sell all the sentries because it's not like you're gonna need them later, and it just kills everything.
I've done that too. It only works if like you need to clean up the last little thing of a round, because if you do that to like kill one target and there's still stuff coming in, well, now you don't have any sentries. It's a cool little gimmick, but you wouldn't really use that in any casual gameplay.
Yeah, the RNG with sentry placement can be a bit annoying, but also just 501 is generally the better crosspath anyway, because this thing needs pierce. So with the decreased range, the placement of the sentries is more consistent.
I don't think I've ever made a 501. I think I've always made it a 520.
Yeah, it would have been completely fine as a 520 with the placement before, because there was that bug that existed for the longest time where it would only play base range of the sentry, or the base range of the NG, my bad, but they fixed that, so now it just places anywhere in the range, and it's really bad.
All right, so making it a 501, and where would you end up putting this guy?
I'd put it solid B. It's pretty good. It's better than all the things in B, or it's better than all the things in C, sorry.
I'd put it like at the bottom of B.
Yeah, same.
Perfect. All right, next up we have the classic Psi Permacharge.
I wasn't around for this. Chom Chom, you take over.
Psi Permacharge? I mean, like, this was never meta, right?
I thought
I
it
don't
was at
think
one
so.
point.
What, using like 052 with Psi?
Yeah, and going like an Elim or something. It was something weird. I don't remember. I didn't do it.
I never recall this being like particularly one of the strongest strategies. I think that it's a good combination, but it's nothing like crazy. Like, you can use it, but it's not like gonna get you free wins, and it has weaknesses. But like, it's a just like one tower with Psi, so usually it would be paired with something else. So I mean, I'd just kind of put it at D, I feel like.
What?
Permacharge?
Okay, D
Permacharge?
is a little crazy.
D is a little crazy. Do you think C?
I think it's C, because just Permacharge, if you can fit, like, if you're trying to make this your main DPS, it's gonna struggle a little. But if you're allowing yourself to, like, buy another tier 5 to help with the weaknesses, it's pretty good.
I haven't really used Permacharge much. I feel like Permacharge kind of took victim to power creep a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You could put it like bottom of C, top of D.
Okay.
That's where I would put it around.
What weaknesses would these two have, and what tier 5 would you buy to pair with them?
Usually the main issue I've encountered is cleanup. Yeah, you do have Psi for cleanup, but after you've already, like, screamed everything and there's a lot of things dead, you've probably also used your Permacharge ability to break down the ZOMG layers, so you kind of just have nothing for the insides, and it's kind of ugh. So
You
something
could
that
either
can clean up.
You would do cleanup. Primary expertise is kind of interesting, but it's good on paper. I really feel like it's not as good as in practice, but it's a cool combination.
The 25% cooldown reduction should give it, like, really good uptime.
And it does give extra pierce, and you get the ballista for ceramics, so I think
true.
it's a fun one, but you could do, like, Glaive Lord with it too.
Yeah, like, it's not very good, but it's very fun.
It has a lot of, like, room to work with, but I feel like Permacharge is just a very mediocre tower.
Yeah, I feel like every
Yeah.
time I make a video on it, I get stuck in like the 90s and then insert random tier 5 to get through, whether that's a permaspike or I've done the pecs. And it always ends up working, but I never know what to fully recommend.
Pecs is cool. I like it just because it's kind of fun. That's
Gotcha.
kind of how I work sometimes. Like I'll just use something because it's fun to play with.
That's how I get the Bloonsolver in all of my runs. As you'll start to see going forward, most of these strats leave you with a ton of money left over, so you can mix and match depending on your needs. Like I added a Pex and Bloonsolver in my example run, but I could have done something like a Permaspike or Prince of Darkness. If you're enjoying the video, please use one of our creator codes if you ever purchase something in game. It helps us out a ton. Alright, following that, we have Psi Energizer.
Who's gonna talk first?
I can go, sure.
Okay.
I like this strat a lot, but it also, like, over the years, it kind of just has been slowly nerfed. Especially the change they did a while ago with where Psi can no longer stall at the end of the round, like they just insta-kill everything after 3 seconds. Getting back the ability cooldowns is really rough.
Yes, it's not something I don't know where to start with this, because this is really, I feel like, a strategy that's only used in like expert chimps challenges. It's not something that like you'd black border with typically. It's like you're gonna go for this crazy thing that's gonna get like 60 something thousand cash spare, and it really only works well on expert maps, and it's a lot of like skill and micro.
Like, it doesn't have to just be expert maps though, as long as, like, I remember, I think it was you, Chom Chom, who made like a video about it on like intermediate advanced maps. Even then, because you can get the Energizer way earlier on those maps, you can still just only have to pay like a few thousand to get level 20 by 95, which is pretty good.
That was on advanced maps. On intermediate maps, you have to pay like a crap load of cash.
Yeah, true. I didn't.
For 95. So you can like do it on advanced maps. It's just like a very out of the way, and I feel like the charm of Psi Energizer with Psi screaming the entirety of round 98 just kind of disappears when you're doing it kind of like that. So and on top of that, it's hard if you use level 9. If you use the scream too late on 98, you won't have it back for 99, which is like a big thing. I did have one of my favorite chimps games though, was the 96,000 cash spare ouch with Psi Geyser and the bugged EDF. That one was fun though, but I feel like it's a strategy that really only pertains to expert chimps challenges and nothing else really.
So
I have no idea where you would rank it.
Yes, that is pretty tough to rank.
You can still get good black border value from it. Like, it's definitely a strat you could do a black border with, but it's not going to be very good for that. So maybe C tier.
That's what I was feeling, was C.
Sure.
After getting the Energizer, you'll have a ton of money left to spend. I like to buy something with a cooldown since the sub will reduce it by 20%. Here, I went with a Wizard Lord Phoenix, but you could always go with a Tech Terror or something else. Beautiful. Next up, we have a tower that I almost never use, and that's the Golden Justice.
I hate this thing.
You hate it?
I've suffered on True Experts with this thing before. It's not fun.
It is very powerful, but very, very map dependent. You need a good, long, straight line. If you don't have that, it doesn't really do much.
Not really. I've noticed a lot when pairing it with Silas, you can just clump everything up so it can actually use the infinite pierce and it's less dependent on that straight line. The main issue I've encountered with it is just stuff running into the pistol range and suddenly you don't have the railgun anymore and you die.
That is very annoying.
That can be avoided by freezing the ceramics outside the radius with like a cryo cannon, but it's still very inconsistent with how the variable attack speed works.
With the what?
The variable attack speed, because like how this is how the I forget which upgrade it is on the top cross path, one of the two, it gives it more attack speed the fewer balloons are in range. So it'll just it'll attack stupid fast, kill all of the ZOMG layers, and it'll make infinite Moabs, and then suddenly it just can't attack anymore because the attack speed is super slow and you die. It's really inconsistent, but it can have very high potential use.
If you were to like use this in a black border, you'd have a cleanup tower behind it, and having the Golden Justice do just as much raw damage as possible by chance. It's a very, very weird tower. In like expert challenges with Silas, you can make this thing go absolutely crazy on like specific maps like Sanctuary, Muddy, and
I did it on Bloody and Ravine as well.
Yeah, Ravine,
and it worked,
Bloody. But if you were to do it on a black border, it's used in a completely different way because it is not consistent for cleanup. You're just going to have it do as much raw damage as possible. It also is really nice because it will kill round 100 by itself. So you can like go all in on cleanup, which I think is a way of using it that hasn't really been showcased at all, but kind of works pretty well.
Yeah, the other issue I've encountered a lot with it is the crits. The crits are really RNG and can really mess everything up sometimes, which makes it not so great for Black Border. I have a personal grudge against it, so I'm not sure I should be ranking it, but I would say D just because I hate it. But
I would say like C or even B. I kind of like it. I like the Golden Justice. It's we have very varied opinions, so
well,
I don't know.
I'll break
Each
the
bomb can
tie.
decide.
I'll just shoot the middle. We'll go C. We'll go at the top of C.
Okay.
That makes me really want to try out the what you were saying, Chom Chom, of just using it as a DPS tower and then buying cleanup behind it. I've never used it that way, and now I would like to try.
Yeah, if you're gonna try that, Solver is probably the best thing to try it with.
Yes!
Just because,
that's what I like to hear.
well, we're gonna talk about it even more because that's like the next strat.
The Archmage Solver.
Very good strat. I approve.
I like it. I like it. This used to be like if you use Archmage and Solver like a good amount of years ago, you would be called a noob 3 times around and again after that too. But it is very cool and was very good at that time too.
Now it's
I
really
give it
good
a thumbs
because
up.
both towers have been buffed to a pretty high degree. So it is just very, very good now. It's
I like
one of the most consistent Black Border strats I can do on like any expert map or even any map below that. It's very consistent, very simple, doesn't really have any big weaknesses other than 100. So yeah.
That's the first strike will kind of solve that most of the times.
Do you just make it a 5-2-0 for both of them?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just skip 5-2-0 on the Bloonsolver. I'll just go 5-1-0 because 5-1-0 increases the pierce of the puddle, but Splatter doesn't, so sometimes you don't need that, but you usually will for the save up.
Makes sense.
Splatter doesn't increase the puddle pierce anymore?
No, it doesn't, and I don't think it ever did.
I'd put it in A.
I would also give it A. It's like top 3 Black Border strats now.
Heck yeah.
Permaspike.
The most nerfed tower in history. All right.
And it's still good, so it's still really good. It's gotten pretty good. Again, like, for Black Borders, it's a very consistent and safe form of cleanup that no other tower really provides. It's this weird, like, cleanup, but it also just kills round 100 tower that no other tower really fills.
Yeah, and something you need a stall to be able to get it to work, but it's very, very simple to get a stall that's good enough. Just a 402 main Moab on last, and that will basically take care of all of its needs in the casual game. Or just a handful of Moab shoves too will work. No, not Moab shoves, Moab presses.
Yeah,
getting
presses
a handful of Moab shoves would be kind of strange.
I don't know why you use multiple, but the funny thing with Permaspike is the skill floor of this tower is super low, and it's really good there, but the skill ceiling is also super high when you pair it with things like Brickell for mine stacking or just Corvus, and it's still amazing at that top level. It's one of the few towers that can be really good at a low level and a high level.
Is there any hero in particular you pair it with, or is it just all around?
For casual, all around, it doesn't matter. It's just a good cleanup tower. But for anything super optimal, probably either Ezili, Brickell, or Corvus.
Gotcha. Yeah, the Ezili Hex as things are running into the spike pile. One of my favorite things to do.
It's so satisfying.
All right, so with that, that's one of the best. Where are we putting it?
S or A?
A or S, just one of the two.
Oh.
Probably maybe S. I think it's better than the A tier strats just because of the insane versatility it has.
Nice. Yeah, I feel anytime I'm ever stuck with a guide and I don't know what to do, the perma spike, it's just the cure-all. We briefly mentioned the Ezili combo. All you have to do is wait until a bunch of blimps are about to hit your spike pile and activate her hex. This makes the affected blimps not spawn any children balloons, saving the pile a ton of spikes. And because it deals the damage so fast, the hex will have time to jump to a ton of blimps before timing out, making for a deadly combo. Alright, next up we have Permabrew Destroyers. I think the first Permabrew strat I had ever tried, and it was awesome.
It's so
It
good.
is very good. Very
so
fun.
good.
I love it so much.
It's so good because with the Destroyers, since Destroyers with Brickell just pretty much solo mid game anyway, the save up isn't even that hard, and once you get it, it's not even. This is the weird thing with Permabrew. Half of the benefit doesn't even come from the Permabrew. It comes from the Perma acidic mixture dip, which goes so hard on these Destroyers. It's so good.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever tried it, I thought someone recommended it as a joke, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I just walked through the map. The easiest save up in the world, and then yeah, it just takes over the late game. And that was without mine stacking or anything. Like I had Brickell. I like barely even used her abilities.
Was this with the 65k Permabrew or the 52k Permabrew?
It was 65.
Yeah, with 52k, saving up to it is so easy, especially with the Destroyers. It'll just win.
Is it even on like expert maps? It still will just win, or is this only like advanced and below?
So on certain expert maps, like Ouch Quad, where you can still have the very good like firing out of both sides of the boat, it will tear through it. It's a little harder to have the save up though, but in general, it's still pretty good.
Gotcha.
I love it. That's all I have to say. It's so much fun.
So are you thinking? All right, let me guess. I'm feeling A tier.
Yeah.
I'd put it top of A.
Ooh,
A
above
is
the
pretty good
Bloonsolver?
for- Yeah, I'd say like probably around that same tier.
All right, I'll put it at the
I
top.
just love it so much. I put it up.
I normally get 5-ish destroyers in range of a village, Brickell, and alchemist before saving up for the Permabrew upgrade. This will tear apart the mid game, especially if you use Brickell's abilities well, and once you get the Permabrew, go back to placing as many 3-1-0 destroyers as you want. Alright,
Moab
this
this is weird.
Moab press
It's
spam.
like actually pretty effective. You need cleanup, of course, so it'd be paired with a strong cleanup tower, but
Like a permaspike.
it's
I think I've used this tower or this strat with like Psi and a primary expertise, and it just won. Like it was so stupid.
it's
On
better
any-
than you would think
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, it lacks a little pierce, and DDTs can be a bit hard, but other than that, it just wins.
Easy enough.
I'd probably say like B tier or C tier because it's not very like good if you're trying to do anything optimal or anything like that. But for casual strats on single lanes, it's solid enough.
Alright, we'll put it by the Sentry Champion. Like most spam strats, it's a good idea to place them in range of discount villages, making one of them a 202 and the other a 022, so everything has camo detection and extra attack speed. And if you want, you can make the top path 1 Apex later on, which adds ceramic cleanup and makes all of our primary monkeys stronger. Alright, next up is the Tsar Bomba. This tower I have like never used.
I absolutely hate this tower. It is
Same.
so bad. I hate it. I
Same.
hate it. I hate it. And then when I say I hate it 3 times, somebody's like, "But Tsar Bomba did a 1GC." And I'm like, "Shut up! I don't care." And then I say F tier. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
That is not the direction I thought this would go.
Being for real though, It's very, like, you kind of need to use Geraldo with it, even in, like, a black border setting. And even then, it's kind of bad, because it either, like, sometimes you'll just use the ability, like, half a second too early, and oops, instead of fully killing the ZOMG, it pops into Moabs and you die. It's very timing dependent, so for casual strats, not good at all. And even for high-level strats, getting the stalls is very, very annoying. I've had 3 different run concepts for this thing to do, like, a crazy challenge run, and every single one of them died after I thought about it for more than 2 seconds. It's not that good. I hate it.
If you couldn't tell, this is my least favorite tower in the entire game.
Maybe not my least favorite, but it's up there.
This is by far my least favorite tower.
All right, so since Chom Chom's biased, what are you thinking, Dorio?
F tier.
Oh.
Yes.
Above the cripple
so
or
bad.
below?
Below.
Oh, okay.
In reality, it is stronger than Cripple Moab, but I just hate it so much that I would put it below.
That's funny. I thought I was going to be the hater on this tower and you guys would defend it, but I'm all for it.
We all hate it. Nobody likes this tower.
Who likes it? Only the Ace Micro people like it.
I don't think even they like it. I'd have to ask
Even-
them, but I
Alright.
don't think most of them like it anyway.
Let's get some of them in here. All right, completely switching gears. We have Silas Double Impale.
This is pretty pointless. There's really no reason to get a second Impale.
Okay, there is. I'm gonna defend it. I hate the strat. I think it's really dumb. I think the way most people use it is pretty dumb, but there is a situation where it's very good. If you have a map that has 2 sections that are just like completely split from each other, if you have a map exactly like that, you can kind of just mirror the exact same setup on both lanes, which is pretty cool. But other than that, it's pretty bad. Usually what people do is they put both of the impales right next to each other. What is the point of that? Instead of doubling the slow you get from impale by buying a second one, you're only doubling, like, the fairly meaningless DPS.
Yes, I saw somebody do that today. They had 2 Impales right next to each other, then they died to round 100. So yeah, I mean, like, you could do that mirror thing, like, for a Modger setup, but I really feel like that isn't too meaningful.
It's not very good. It's
and I'd rather
always
have
outclassed.
2 Esprits or 2 AZs in
Yeah,
that same situation.
that's always better. I'd
Yeah.
give it a D tier just because I think it's stupid, but
Bottom of D.
yeah, there are a lot of people, especially the Redditors, they're gonna kill me for that one.
Yeah.
Should we just follow it up with double Super Brittle, double AZ, like skip a few since we
Sure,
have...
yeah. Just because we just talked about that. Yeah, double Super Brittle, it's definitely a lot higher.
I would say that, well, for double Super Brittle, the thing's getting nerfed next update. And with that in mind, I feel like very soon double AZ will be stronger, but in the current state, Super Brittle's just beyond broken. So
Yeah, like, I made a guide on Dark Dungeons with double Super Brittle, like, before the stupid buff it just got, and it was still tearing the thing apart.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even close to being inconsistent with the Super Brittles themselves.
pre-buff Super Brittle was still pretty strong, actually. It
Yeah.
had very underrated damage. So I'm just going to base it off of that. I'd say that would be like, would you say like high B?
IB for sure, yeah.
Yes. In
Is-
the current update, it would be S, but for old Super
Yeah.
Brittle, high B. And then double AZ, I'd definitely put A.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I like double AZ as much. This might just be a me thing, but most of the... What the hell was that?
Oh, is that somehow picky? There's people in my hallway that are being like freaky right now.
Oh yeah, they were screaming.
It was
I heard
only
that.
the one scream
How
made it
did How
over.
did that pick up? Okay, wait. I'm gonna change my headphones so like they go through the microphone.
One thing about the double Super Brittle, is there any strat to spacing them out, having them close, or is it just going to work?
Like, usually, I usually prefer to do, like, the mirror setup thing on split maps, but even if you're going for, like, it'll do a lot better than double impale if you put them right next to each other, just because they can kind of, like, stagger each other's shots, sort of, like, one will pop everything open, and then the other one will kill what that thing just popped open, and then pop everything else open, and it'll keep going.
Sure.
A lot of the time you can get that with just one, but doubling that can still be very good. They can desync if you go opposing cross paths, which is very nice.
Oh, like a 501 and a 520?
Yeah, you can get them to desync pretty easily, and it'll just tear through everything if you can pop one thing open with like
I
an
didn't even
overdrive.
think of that. All right, with the double absolute zero.
I I don't really see the point too much. I only see the point if you're like on a super easy map and there's no way you could possibly get Silas level 20 in time for 98, because you kind of need the Silas level 20 thing for one absolute zero to permafreeze everything. And if you have two, I don't even think that permafreezes everything anymore, even with the primary mentoring. I might be wrong on that though, but it is pretty good still.
What about just having the double global secondary freezes? Does that play a factor at all?
Like, maybe? It kind of depends though. For rounds like 92 and 96, which are usually the reason why you'd want a second absolute zero instead of one that's permafreeze, those rounds can usually just be solved by other Silas abilities as well. But with Silas most definitely getting nerfed in the future, I don't know if you'll be able to do that as well.
Yeah.
So double AZ will probably have more value then.
I feel like it is pretty strong, and with so many abilities from 2 absolute zeros and then the level 10 on Silas, it's like really hard to mess up, because like people could complain about ability timing, but with that many abilities you could do it really bad and it will still slow everything. So
yeah, true.
I think generally it's just pretty strong to have that much slowing at your disposal.
And you were saying that it's probably an A tier?
Yeah, I would say so.
A or B, I would go with either. I'm fine with either.
All right, we'll put it above the T-Rex. We have to bump this guy down a peg. When I use Silas, I tend to merge all of their strats together. Silas gets extra XP from tier 3 ice monkeys and above, so I like to spam icicles in the mid game, then pick up at least one absolute zero and super brittle, and because of his discount, there is still money left over to go in any direction. On expert maps, you won't have this much freedom, but advanced and below, you can pick up just about anything.
And now we've got, like, low-key, probably my favorite black border strat out of any of them, which is Gwen Snipers. I love this thing so much. It's so consistent. It works on, like, literally any map that isn't, like, 11 lanes or however many some maps are. And it's so good.
I've not used this in a good minute, so I don't really have much to say.
For black border, it's easily like one of the best, probably top 3, but outside of that it's not nearly as good. The main reason it's so good for black border is because the build order is very simple and very lenient. Like, you'll have a lot of extra money to be able to do different things depending on what the map will require. Because of the stupid price buff that Elite Sniper got, you can afford it even earlier now and fit even more things into the save up for it to make that as smooth as possible.
Yeah. The one thing that I remember is that I was the first person to like really use the sniper spam when I made a geared guide way back in the day, and it was pretty scuffed back then, but it then got like super OP with Geraldo, and that was a fun time. And then I really haven't used sniper spam since then.
Yeah, it's the king of black border strats, but outside of that it's pretty bad, I'd say. So
yeah,
A or B probably, because it doesn't have much potential other than that. I'd say probably A, just because of how strong it is in black borders, but...
Gotcha. So being weakened outside of black borders, is that just because you have to spend so much, or...?
Yeah, it's a very simple build order, but it requires a lot of spending. Like, you need very commonly an elite sniper, an elite defender, 205 probably. If you go 025, that can work, it's just a bit worse. And then you go 032 bouncing bullets, you would need like at least 4 of them, and then you'll have like a main Moab that you also probably need, and probably some like relentless glue shenanigans in there. It's a bit annoying, it can work, but if you're trying to be optimal with it, it's just not gonna work because it doesn't scale as well if you don't spend as much money.
Gotcha. But if you're willing to spend the money, it just outscales the balloons and is a very easy route to victory.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I guess following the sniper spam, we have Permabrew Snipers.
This is pretty good, right?
It's pretty good, yeah. Like, because of the buffs that Elite Defender got recently, where it has just 2 shrapnel damage now, it pretty much makes the save up to Permabrew just completely free.
Yeah, I used Pbrew and EDF on quad like yesterday. The video isn't out yet, and it actually did the save up into Pbrew on quad chimps, which isn't a very good map for it, pretty easily. So
yeah,
it worked out well.
I was gonna do a guide with that at one point, but then I decided to not because it was too cursed.
I then got Dark Knights later, and that was kind of funny, but that's beyond the point.
With Permabrew Snipers, the 025 Elite Defender kind of just shreds. Usually after you get Permabrew, you want to get, surprisingly, a 204 full auto, and then you spam 024s. But the reason you want a 204 specifically is because the first Bloon tends to just not die with Shrapnel Elite Defender, because the Shrapnel kills everything behind it, but it doesn't have too much damage to specifically the first Bloon, and the 204 full auto will always take that out.
Gotcha.
Which is pretty funny. But then once you start spamming 024s, like once you get, I think, 2 024s, the game just becomes free on like any map.
Makes sense. So would you put it up there with the previous sniper strat, or?
It's about as good. It's slightly harder to use for black borders, and it depends a bit more on the map, but it's still very, very good.
Gotcha. Works for me. All right, sticking with snipers, we have pairing them with a Bloonsolver for cleanup. Is this a 205 sniper, right?
That was the 205. I know what this strat comes from, that one ouch guide I did with that.
It does.
And I don't like this strat very much. It had a specific niche there, but I don't think you're going to be finding that niche a lot of the time. That can't just be done by another tower to pair with the solver better. So that's the main issue with it. It's usually just outclassed, but it can work.
Chom Chom, do you have any thoughts?
Well, these are like two pretty cheap towers. If you're like spending that much on damage, you're gonna have to get like a third cheap tier 5. So I feel like pairing E-Def with Bloonsolver just like isn't really the greatest thing to do half the time.
Yeah, it's not
But
very
if you
good.
can get like another cheap tier 5 to fill in gaps, I guess just doing general damage, then it could work. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Not really the
in
first thing I'd pick.
Yeah, in that one outrun I did, it served a very specific purpose, but outside of that, it doesn't really do all that much for Solver.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
basically it. But
I'd give it a solid like C. It's worse than all the other Solver strats, but it's still something because Solver strats are just that good for black borders for the most part.
All right, we thinking mid C, bottom C?
Mid C.
Mid C it is, right in the middle.
I love Bez.
We
I
love
also
the
love
Bez.
Bez. My favorite tower.
Yes.
It's my favorite tower.
This is
so
not
good.
my favorite tower, but it is one of my favorites. Ooh, my favorite tower is coming up there eventually, but
I know it's not Plasma Monkey Fan Club,
but
but
yeah,
I love Bez.
you want to talk about Bez? We both love Bez.
I love Bez. So Bez is like maybe one of the most versatile towers in the whole game. It'll work on pretty much any map. The save up, it can be a bit tricky on harder maps, but Bads is usually pretty good to save into Bez, and Bez also just works with like any hero. It just doesn't matter. So good, so OP. And the thing is, the skill floor is very low with it. If you just set it on target independent, it'll kind of work. But if you start microing it, it gets so good. I love it. It's also so fun.
In general, Bez is the best.
Nice.
I agree.
So
Where are
how
you gonna
high
put
up
it?
is Bezd? Chom Chom.
I mean, this might be a little bit biased, but I would put it in A.
I would
I feel
also
like-
say A because I'm also biased. So
I feel like in reality, it can struggle to save up a little bit of the time. Like
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people try to use it and they just couldn't get the save up. But I mean, like, if you just get really good, you can do the save up and then you can be
Yeah.
partying with Bez. So
yeah, you could do like
maybe it's just a skill issue.
it kind of is a skill issue, but if you put it, it's A tier because it's the best tower in the game, but also like B does stand for Bez, so maybe it should go in B tier, you know?
All right, I'll bring it down a bit.
I think
I'll
the-
put it in B tier.
Like,
I'm sorry to do that to you
The
guys.
save up issue can be a bit of a problem, which I do have to admit, unfortunately, but other than that, if you ignore that one glaring issue, it's like actually so good.
There.
And it doesn't have normal type damage. But
Well, you
that's
just
so
spam
solvable.
AMDs.
Or you can just get a MIB. A lot of the time you just
Yeah.
want the MIB for the consistency. Because of the weird change they did with AMD a while ago, you can never actually get permanent uptime. You will always have 0.5 seconds of downtime, which is really annoying.
I did not know that.
is that with a 200, 201, and 220 under drums? So it's a small downtime.
The strat for like the cheapest way to get pretty much permanent uptime is a 301 alk, which you would already have,
Yeah.
and then 3 200s. That's as good as you're gonna get.
For the Bez, you should usually be making it a 205 as the laser shock makes it do significantly more damage and gets better AMD uptime. Plus, the increased accuracy and range is very nice. All right, next up, we have the primary expertise.
If this is excluding using it with bombs, what other ways would you really use primary expertise?
Common one that I've found to be fairly decent, especially with Geraldo, is turbocharge spam. That one can be very fun.
Okay. Yeah.
You can do a whole bunch of things, really. You can spam, actually, maybe not spam. It tends to work fairly well with Super Monkey Fan Club because of the extra pierce and the ability cooldown.
Does have the cooldown, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like as I said before, permacharge, you can do something.
Yeah, permacharge. It can kind of work with a few other things, snowstorms as well sometimes, or absolute zero. It's pretty versatile. In general, it's not like the greatest, but it can be good.
So are you thinking like high D, low C?
I would say
probably
D.
do high D. Yeah, if
I'd
you're
probably say
including
D, 'cause
bombs.
excluding bomb shooters, it's not that good, but it can have some cool, fun uses sometimes. So
Nothing
yeah.
super effective, but as a wise AI once said, have you tried using primary expertise?
Have you tried using the primary expertise?
We said D tier.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pookie is the next one.
Pookie, I love this. It's actually no, I hate this tower somewhat, but like,
I like this tower.
it's gotten a lot worse because of the Condor nerfs, making it a lot harder to save up for. But other than that, it still kind of destroys the late game on its own. Because once you get it, you just get max degree on it, and it kind of just wins. So.
I feel like I really haven't seen a single person use this in like a chimps game in a very long time.
You literally did on Bloody Puddles fairly recently.
Well, no, like other people.
Oh yeah.
Like
Most
who
people.
else has used this?
There was Mdruge who did all of the Powakai 2 NPCs on all of the hard maps, but that doesn't really count. So.
But yeah, I think it's actually underrated. I think it's a pretty good tower. Nobody really uses it. You have to really you're forced to get it before 85, which isn't too difficult. You could have just like a hero being as simple as being able to take out the round 80 ZOMG. So like, I don't know, Churchill will do that well and we'll be able to clean up the rest of the stuff. And I think it has a pretty good build order. It won't really work on the hardest of hard maps and multi-lane maps too, really, but other than that, I think it can work. It works out a lot better than people think.
Yeah, I usually run into issues having to get it before 83 because Condors just can't kill 83. That's usually what I encounter, but sometimes you can delay it till 85, yeah.
I'd put it like low B.
I would say B as well for Powakai.
Pookie.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've got Pbrew Hydra Rocket Pods. This is a Dorio meme strat, and it's not that good, but it's also... Okay, after Hydra Rocket Pods got 2 damage, with Permabrew, they're actually kind of cracked. Like, if you have 4 of them and, like, any straight line whatsoever, they just win. So, it's pretty good.
I did
They
this
fall
on
off single
Muddy.
target.
How much cash spare did I get on that Muddy run?
I don't know. I got, like, slightly more than 50k with it on Bloody, which isn't great by modern standards, but it was a meme strat, so we take it.
What hero?
Quincy.
Okay.
Because Quincy Pbrew is... Yeah, but pairing Hydra Rocket Pods with Permabrew, and specifically Quincy, because Quincy also pairs really, really well with Permabrew, it kind of just erases everything. So it can be good, but also having to save up to a Permabrew with like multiple Hydra Rocket Pods isn't very good. So usually after, like, my personal favorite way to use it is to do a Shrapnel Elite Defender into Permabrew. Much easier, and then just Hydra Rocket Pods afterward.
So you just pivot from the Sniper Permabrew into your personal meme strat.
Yes.
Well, how
Yeah, I don't
much
know
do
where to
you
put
love it?
I put it kind of low.
It's better than the D tier towers for sure, but it's not good. So
So bottom of C it goes.
probably bottom of C, yeah.
Fair enough. All right, next up we have the PMFC. Chom Chom's favorite.
This is my favorite is Total Transformation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I said it totally wasn't the... Also, Total Transformation's like my favorite too, so we can talk about that one. But
Is your favorite not Bez?
No, Bez is my favorite. Total Transformation's like my second favorite.
Despite being very similar in many ways to Total Transformation, I have not used Plasma Monkey Fan Club really much at all, so...
I haven't used it very much. I've tried a few runs with it. It's not very good for black borders at all because the save up is a little ugh. And even after that, the ability timing is very particular. It's really hard to use, but it can provide a lot of value in any optimal run. It pairs well with like actually just a bunch of different heroes. Sometimes it can be good with Psi, sometimes it's good with like even Oben because he can clear DDTs with his wall of trees while the PMFC is down. It can work well with just a multitude of heroes really. It's pretty versatile, but the main issue is that it's just really tricky to use and fairly inconsistent at that.
Yeah, I've actually always been afraid of making PMFC guides or just tips because I know people will hate it because they'll mess up the timing and then not be able to win.
The skill floor is absurdly low, but the skill ceiling is very high.
Yeah. Also, one thing, this is kind of unrelated, but I find it very funny. A lot of people don't like placing more than 10 towers. When I would make guides with like the Mauler spam strat where you get like a bunch of Maulers, I get comments of people being like, why do you have to place more than 10 towers? So I think that just turns off a lot of people immediately.
That's why you have to have the copy paste mod. It's glorious.
Okay. I've never actually tried that mod. Could be funny, but
whoa, it's a lifesaver, honestly.
It's either B or C, because in optimal play it's very good, but in casual play it's so unbelievably bad. Probably C tier for that.
I would say C.
Everything in high C.
But yeah, it also apparently it's pretty good for bosses too, but I don't play those, so I wouldn't know.
Fair enough. When making the other dart monkeys, you usually want to make them 2/2/0s for the extra pierce and attack speed, but you can pick up enhanced eyesight if you need the extra range and or camo detection. And if you have extra money, you can make them all triple shots. All right, next up we have Geraldo and Dark Knights.
This is not good.
It's not good. I agree. It's pretty bad.
If you want to see a strat that has abysmal pierce, this is something to look at.
No, you go 023. Duh, Chom Chom.
Come on.
Duh. Although the 023 is actually worse than the 203.
Oh, it's so bad. I remember this was like one of my first videos on my channel. It was every single expert map on chimps with Geraldo and 023 Dark Knight spam. It was so awful and so annoying to use. I hated it.
Well, I did it with the 302 bomb, and that was like the blast of my life.
Yeah, because 302 bomb spam is amazing. I don't know why it's not on the tier list,
Yeah.
but Geraldo Dark Knight is so bad. I hate it.
You hate it more than the
it's
Tsar
F.
Bomba?
F.
No, D tier for Dark Knights, I'd say, but F tier is also like fairly reasonable.
I'll put it top F. Because our Dark Knights struggle with low pierce, I like to combine them with something that can handle all the Moabs and Super Ceramics in the late game and let the Super Monkeys pop the outer layers. I used a Glaive Lord here, but most cleanup towers can fill that role. Alright, this is also a Dorio classic.
I love this strat. It's so good. Okay, this wasn't created by me. This was created by someone else, but I kind of popularized it. It's pretty good, I have to say. It's very versatile. Completely struggles to anything single target related, but we don't have to talk about that. Chom Chom's used it a bit though, so he can say some stuff.
Honestly, it wasn't my favorite. I hate to break your heart, Dorio, but I used it a few times and I'm like, this is pretty cool. And then round 98 came and it couldn't really beat round 98, and yeah.
Yeah, they nerfed more Glaives Pierce a while back, which like made it kind of bad against 98 specifically. But I don't know, if you have like a Tsar Bomba, maybe you can beat 98, you know? So more Glaive spam, probably B tier. It's very consistent for black borders. It's pretty simple to build into, but it only really gets good once you get that Gwen level that gives heated up +1 damage.
Makes sense. And then you just place or build all the more Glaives as 4/2/0s, I assume?
Yeah, 4/2/0s.
Yep.
Gotcha. The biggest thing is to make sure every more Glaive is in range of Gwen's heated up buff so they get the extra damage and lead popping power. This makes it super easy to skip a MIB and we get the higher DPS of the attack speed cross path. Alright, next up we have the Carpet of Spikes. This tower I always wanted to use, but until I did that Twisted Nightmare run, I like never knew how to work it in. And then I started spamming it.
Yeah, this tower is too map list pilled for me to like it. So
I like it. I think it's pretty good.
It's cool. You can pair it with Solver and it'll work pretty well. I know Frosty did that recently on one of his quad guides. For black borders, I don't like it. I don't find it very consistent because I've tried to make a few guides with it and it's so annoying to work around the RNG with. It's not really RNG, just when it fires, because I always play with auto start off in my guides, but with Carpet you pretty much have to have it on, because if Carpet decides to fire, like it'll start firing a spike storm right as the round ends, it just won't fire the spikes. I've seen it legitimately fire one spike because the round ended at the worst time possible, and sometimes you can just die to that. and it's really annoying.
I did not know that was a
the
thing.
one thing that I find kind of more annoying with it is that it's a kind of expensive, like more expensive than you'd think, and the save up for harder maps in particular could be a little bit challenging depending the way you're working around with it. Yeah, it's just like a more expensive tower than you'd think. It has a pretty expensive tier 4 that doesn't really do a whole lot. Like, it does something, but it's an ability based like damage surge more towards single target, so it doesn't have the greatest save up. That's really the only weakness I'd say. Other than that, it can fill gaps pretty well with good cleanup towers, and it does DDTs and kills the bad. So yeah,
That's
I
the
like
main thing it's good for.
Is there any hero that you pair it with all the time, or is it really just like a flex?
just something more cleanup really oriented. Like the rest of the
Yeah.
strategy will be based on cleanup, because it's the complete solution for DDTs and the bad. So
Gotcha.
just
Yeah.
focus it all in on the other side.
The hero I like to pair it with the most is probably Psi, but usually you can't rely on the Carpet of Spikes itself to pop all of the ZOMG layers, because it's going to get blocked by fortified BFBs on 98 and just other things, so it won't always be able to kill ZOMG layers. So sometimes you still need, even with Psi, you need something to kill those ZOMG layers.
Gotcha.
Yep, I'd say it's at least B. I don't know, maybe low A.
Probably B. The thing with it though is if you can pierce buff it with like a Lord of the Abyss, it pairs very well, because Lord of the Abyss can clean up and also pierce buff it a ton. So that can be a fun one, but it's not always viable just because of the range issues that Lord of the Abyss can have sometimes. So
Gotcha. Well, I know what I'm going to use for my B-roll. I'm going to try the Lord of the Abyss Carpet of Spikes.
it's pretty good.
All right. Following that, what is this? Poseidon and Oben or Silas?
Oben and Silas both do different things for Poseidon, and it kind of depends what situation, which one you're going to want to use. Silas will eliminate the zebra issue entirely, but other than that, he doesn't do that much for Poseidon. But Oben makes the balls last longer with his level 11 buff, and that can be very good.
I did a test with Oben and the tier 4, the Arctic Knights, especially with the bug where they bounce around. And honestly, it didn't do as much as it seemed to me. I feel like Silas, just with all of other Silas's slowing abilities, seemed to work better.
Yeah, that might be with specifically the Arctic Knight, because from my experience, once you get the Poseidon and you just overclock it, with Oben, it'll just solo the game. With Silas, sometimes you'll lose to round 100.
Yeah, seems fine. I actually really like the Poseidon though.
It's really fun, especially they like buffed the damage a ton. It does a lot more damage now, and especially with the Seeking crosspath, it just shreds with the main attack, and the ability can be a nice bonus.
When do you use the ability? Is it like at the start of 98, or do you use it for cleanup?
So, most of the time that I use Poseidon, I try to use the ability like around the halfway point of 98. Once everything has started to breaking because of the main attack, I just use it and that cleans up for the most part.
Gotcha.
But the issue with that is I don't have it for 99, and Poseidon main attack sucks against 99. So yeah,
If
usually
you're doing
you just
black
can't
borders,
use
you'd
99.
throw a Sabo in there.
Yeah, for sure. Even with Sabo, sometimes it struggles, which is a little annoying. But you can throw in other support like a Relentless as well, and it'll probably win.
Yeah.
Easy enough. All right.
Easy.
Consistent
I'd
and
say-
very good.
High B.
Yeah, I'd say low A. With the recent buffs it got, it's so good.
All right, we'll put it low A. We've
Yeah,
been
now that
spamming
the
the
save
B
up
tier.
now that the save up is way more free because of the price buff, it's so good.
How much did the price drop?
It went from like 56k to 51.8k.
Oh, nice. It's like a
So
Permabrew now.
it's same price. I think it's easier to save up for, and that makes it a lot better.
Nice. All right. Following this is one of my favorite strats, is Rosalia and the Flying Fortress.
Very good strat for like pretty much any map really. It does fall off on harder maps just because Spectre, even with the buff, sometimes can't keep up, but that's only on like the hardest of the hard maps. On anything that's not like brew expert category, it'll work. It's very simple. Sometimes there are consistency issues because Spectre's just like that, but yeah, you can save up to the Fortress pretty consistently before round 90, and then Flying Fortress just wins. I don't
Easy enough.
really know where to place it though. A or B probably.
Chom Chom?
You did right.
I would probably do B. I wouldn't really see it in A.
Yeah, that's fair. I can go with B. Yeah.
I'd do like kind of lower in B though.
We'll move it
Does
down.
that break your heart?
That breaks my heart a bit.
It's probably
yeah.
better than biggest one for sure, but
All right, we'll put it right there. Next up, we have Chom Chom's favorite, the Total Transformation.
I love this tower. It is so fun to use. It is very difficult to use, I will admit, but it is very fun. And you
what
do it
hero
with
do you
Oben.
use it with?
Oben, you don't do Geraldo.
Good.
If you use it with Geraldo, the Druids will be very weak. The reason why it is strong is because Oben will make tier 3 Druids shoot like really, really fast, and then when they get transformed, they actually do a lot of damage. A simple debuff like Glue Strike is typically good enough to be able to beat hard maps if you can stall, but if you're like doing anything else, just do like Glue Storm and it will go crazy.
What I usually like to do with Total Transformation, the reason why Oben is so good with it is because he just buffs the Druids a ton. I think it's his level 18 or 19, makes the Druid of Wrath pops start at the maximum, so they'll be attacking twice as fast, just automatically, and he also gives them a lot of extra pierce, range, and oh yeah, he also buffs
And then
the
the
Total
pop
Transformation.
lust come in too. You can
Pop lust, too.
pop lust them buff pierce and attack speed. So literally you have everything but the damage is like cranked up to insane amounts. So something as simple as a damage debuff like Glue Storm, not very expensive, you get an absurd amount of damage. It's like crazy amounts of damage, but it is very, very difficult to use. But I love it. It is my favorite tower, so I would say S tier.
Okay,
That's
it's
all.
definitely not S tier, but it's very good. The thing that Oben also does, which is very funny for it, is it buffs the Total Transformation ability cooldown by 5%. It's overall Total Transformation, yeah, as Chom Chom said, very good, very hard to use though.
That makes it tricky to rank.
Yeah, I would say put it in like a similar location to other towers like that, which would be somewhere near like the Sky Shredder positioning.
All right, that works for me. If you know what you're doing, you're obviously going to get way more out of it.
Yeah.
But not everyone can do that. So following that, we have the wall strats.
Yeah, if your map has walls, Ultra Juggernauts, even just Juggernauts, and Arctic Knights are gonna go so crazy. On wall maps, they just insta-win the game. On non-wall maps, they kind of struggle though.
Yeah, it's very map specific, but Dark Dungeons, LCC.
Dark Dungeons.
Is it the best expert LCC besides Infernal?
I think it is actually the lowest expert LCC because of other than Infernal.
Infernal got 134k. It passes Dark Castle, I think, which is like absolutely absurd. And that was the 134k was with the most broken strategy that ever existed. Geraldo Sniper on a map that was absolutely perfect for it. So yeah.
But currently, what makes Arctic Knight so good on wall maps is the main issue that it has normally when it's not in the bugged state it's in right now is that it doesn't bounce off of map borders, so the balls will get lost very easily. But in wall maps, the walls just keep them bouncing permanently, and not permanently, but just until they time out, which is so powerful. Chom Chom has done like a bunch of videos on that, especially on Dark Dungeons, but they also work well on other wall maps like Cornfield, Encrypted, Mesa 2, which I know H-Bomb hates.
Oh, we hate Mesa. But all right, for ranking this, I would honestly not even think about non-wall maps. Like rank it based only on the maps you would use it on.
If it's on non-wall maps, it's like way down there.
It's like F tier, but if it's on wall maps, it's S tier.
It's like S tier. It's F or S. It's F or S.
All right, we'll put it S because you're not going to use it, or we're not going to use it unless we have walls. Wall strats are super niche because they only work on certain maps, but I always try to work them in when they're an option. It's always fun to see a super cheap Ultra Juggernaut outdamage something expensive because of some obstacles.
Yep.
All right.
This is a strategy that has not been around for like 5 years.
I wasn't around for this.
This is pre-Dorio.
So this This was upon the Subcom's first big buff, and Ballistics also got buffed that update along with Subcom, and it was like pretty good-ish, but to be honest, I feel like in retrospect it wasn't very good compared to like it being the times where everybody kind of sucked-ish. So it's not good, it doesn't really hold up, it hasn't gotten any buffs since then really. And yeah, it's just like an old relic of the past.
So even if it was good, the power creep has pushed everything else past it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this was meta 5 years ago at least. So
The good old days.
So when you
Yes.
say it was pre-Dorio, like I was playing the game, I wasn't very good though, and I wasn't in the community, so I didn't know this was good. I think I was still playing Monkey Meadow easy at that time.
when does Dorio get good at the game?
I've yet to see it.
Some people would say never, but also some people would say like V30s.
When did H-Bomb get good at
Never.
Some people would also say never.
I peaked in 1.0. It's all been
That's crazy.
downhill since then. All right, so where are we putting this?
Put it like
D tier, the end. Actually, no.
I
Probably
mean,
not C
low
tier,
of
like,
D to top
tier
of
probably.
F.
Hmm.
Or you could even put it there like what even is this?
Like it's not good anymore. No, don't put it in the plasma accelerator tier. It's better than that. Come on.
Okay, I'm more intrigued. Is the next one? Why is it just Geraldo and a bunch of Shinobis? Is this
It's
like,
the
is
Grand
it the
Sabo
Jerry
thing.
Fire?
Yeah.
This one's really weird. This is just like for the niche of it. There's really no practical point in this. I feel like just get
Yeah.
a Grandmaster Ninja or Master Bomber.
Yeah, you would rather just go Grandmaster Ninja, Master Bomber, or just spam a bunch of Bloon Jitsus. That would also work better than putting the Jerry Fires, because even with the funny Grand Sabo interaction where that buffs the damage, it's just a bit annoying to use and not great. So it's like,
This is like just for the novelty of it. Like,
Yeah.
here's this really weird buff that Ninja Kiwi put in some time ago for absolutely no reason. Let's use it for absolutely no reason. That's like really the only attitude you'd get out of it. I don't know.
C tier.
Is this another? You think?
I think it's C. Like the thing is, it is kind of pointless, but it's also actually good. So
Okay, sure.
it's powerful,
Whatever you
unlike
say.
most of the other like meme strats. So I would say C tier.
Should it be at the bottom of C? Is it ahead of Hydro Rocket Pods?
It's worse.
Dang.
I would have at least put it in like D tier, but
I think it's somewhat usable, unlike most of the D strats.
Whoa, what
Okay.
about Double Impale?
No.
The fun interaction they were talking about is the Grand Saboteur's ability gives all Shinobis on screen plus 10 range and plus 2 Moab class damage, and this gets extended to the Fire Spirits. So when the ability is active, our DPS will spike, especially if you're spamming Geraldo spicy potions like you should be in the 90s. All right, next up
So,
we have Striker and the Pop and Ah.
This peaked in V39 when Pop and Awe was like the best tower in the game, but nowadays, without micro, it's pretty bad. With micro, it's okay. So I'm not quite sure.
I've never been a super big Poppin' Off fan. I know other people are like crazy Poppin' Off fanatics, so same with Bloons.
Yeah, Bloonson is interesting. We can get to that one later. But Pop and Awe, it's very good. The micro is very fast paced and very difficult a lot of the time. So that is another issue. But the main issue I usually encounter with Pop and Awe is just like dealing with that ability downtime.
I think I've used the Pop and Ah like twice, so I don't even know what to add to this.
Yeah, like it's good, but it's also not great, you know? I feel like this is another C tier.
That works for me.
Just because, like, yeah, high skill, it can be pretty good, but also low skill, you're not getting anything out of this, like, ever.
I'd put it at least above the HRP thing.
Okay, fair.
The what?
Hydro Rocket Pods.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. All right, next up we have Sauda and the Bottom Path Glue Gunner.
So, yeah, Sauda just pairs very well with Relentless because she gets the damage buff from the balloons being slowed, and also when it starts stunning stuff, she'll obviously get the bonus from them being stunned, so she'll do a lot of extra damage. And yeah, it can be pretty good, but it's kind of situational because you can't always get Sauda hitting everything, so usually you can't rely on this as like your main strategy. It's kind of how the Pat thing was earlier. Like, it's good, but it's...
Sure, it's also so cheap that you can very easily do something else.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, what tier are you thinking, H-Bomb?
I don't know. Anytime I use it, it's so beginner friendly is what I'm thinking. Because like if you're on advanced or below, especially if it's a single lane map, like this thing is going to carry to where you can just like, I could have my girlfriend play and probably win. If you bring in experts, I don't really know how that impacts things.
A lot of the time, as similar to the Pat Fusty thing from earlier with the like super buffing him, it's very good for just completely shutting down one lane.
Yeah, it carried my quad run, the top Sauda was just on the top, and that was just a non-factor. Like, I spent most of my money defending the bottom.
Yeah, because with Sauda in like a decent spot on a curve and a Relentless or a Super Glue, you just don't have to worry about that lane for the most part. You still do on some tricky rounds, but not always.
I don't know. I'm thinking B.
I'm also thinking B. It's so easy to slot into anything to where, yeah.
And we'll put it.
You said it's so easy your girlfriend could win, but could Kramer win with it?
I actually almost said Kramer. I wasn't sure if people would get the reference, though.
I don't get the reference. I feel like I should.
That's my cat.
Oh, okay.
I bet Violet could win with it.
Is that the dog?
Old, deaf dog, yes. 12 years old, deaf.
I've actually been very close to making... All right, this is a complete side note. Have you seen the... Is his name Michael Reeves had his Goldfish play game?
Yes.
Yeah, I have
Michael
been
Reeves.
very close to making a Kramer Plays Bloons video for years, but I don't know how well I could make it, and then also would it be a good video is like...
It would be so peak. You need to do that.
Sauda and the Relentless Glue are so cheap and strong that you can work just about anything in. On Off the Coast, I've defended with these two and a Dragon's Breath until I could afford Super Mines, and on Quad, it let me get to a Glaive Lord and Final Harmonic.
Orca Overclock. So this strat, not very beginner friendly, I'd say. It's pretty tricky to make it work. Orca in general has a very high skill ceiling with all the micro that can happen with it, and the skill floor is pretty low. But with the, there's currently a, I'm not even sure if it's a bug anymore. I think Ninja Kiwi's just going to keep it because they have no idea what to do about it. Orca currently has double thrash rate if it insta-kills something. So if it's fully dragging something down, it'll have double the thrash rate, which just makes the grouped DPS ultra broken. So it's pretty good in that regard, but it's also like hard to use.
Yeah, I never used the Orca until on the Bloons wiki. It gave me like the order of, then you do like one Orca and then 2 max Great Whites and then merge them all in
awful.
80. Dude, it worked pretty well. I was a big fan.
But yeah, Orca in general is, it's a decent tower. I just don't like it that much. I don't know what Chom Chom thinks, but like he's also like, I don't know where he went. He's muted.
I found this bag of Reese's peanut butter cups and I am devouring them right now.
What do you think of Orca?
But Orca, I like it. It's definitely hard to use and you kind of need the right map for it, but I'll enjoy using it. It's a very satisfying tower.
You're kind of like the Orca, but for the Reese's Pieces right now, or whatever you said you're eating.
Reese's peanut
Double
butter cups, yes.
double chew rate.
I have
He's
3
plowing.
left. It was a full family-sized bag at the start of this, and now there's only
What?
one.
That's crazy.
Anyway, where would we end up ranking Orca?
I would honestly like it. The very high peak of it is nice, but also the floor is so low to where I just want to say like B, or maybe even C, but I think B is fair.
Low B, we said?
I think B, yeah.
The Orca can struggle against fast-paced bloons sneaking through, so it's good to pair with a strong cleanup tower like a Prince of Darkness or Permaspike. And if you combine this with Adora, you can make use of triple discount villages to save money on the Great Whites and sacrifice the villages later on. Next up, we have Brickell and the Carrier Flagship. Every beginner player's dream. As you don't, on easier maps, you don't even have to use abilities. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's almost as good as Brickell Pirate Lord, but not quite. It's pretty inconsistent, so usually you want to pair the two together. When you do that, it becomes crazy good, but just Brickell Carrier Flagship on its own does have quite a few consistency issues, which not always super fun to deal with, but it's pretty good. I would totally say A tier. Just because pretty high peak potential, and also you can get around the consistency issues pretty easily, especially in a black border, so it's very good for those as well.
Easy enough. We thinking high A, mid A?
Like mid A, yeah.
All right, next up we have Silas and Icicle Spam.
Very, very good. Too good almost. This thing is so good. Because the Icicles will buff Silas's XP, you can get level 20 Silas fairly early, sometimes on expert maps even as early as like round 92, which means an absolute 0, which you'll definitely have with this strat because big slow, and also it buffs the Icicles attack speed by 50% while the ability is active, because that's a mechanic nobody knows about. That'll just completely tear through everything, and with the permafreeze from absolute 0, even if it doesn't tear through everything instantly, it will eventually.
Yeah, easy enough. I mean, I've used this in a couple videos, and it's like, it's a joke how easy some runs are with it.
Most rounds are stupid easy.
Everything's frozen. They somehow tear through blimps incredibly fast. It's wild.
The only issue round is specifically round 100, but you can save up so much money that you can just buy like, you could probably buy like a whole MAD.
That was in my video.
100.
I bought a MAD for 100.
Oh, actually?
Yeah. And then, yeah, no, the whole run was easy. But with that, how high are we putting this thing?
S.
Oh, where an
In
S?
the current state of Silas, even though he's probably going to get nerfed, I think it's S.
There we go.
It's just so broken.
We love to see it. I have been waiting for just like a Ice Monkey meta for years, and I did not know it would be like this crazy.
All 3 Ice Pats are ranked very high on like the semi-official Chimps tier list. I think they're all A tier or above right now.
That's crazy. One day I'll make a new tier list video. Monkey tier list. Not this. Going complete opposite of Ice Monkeys, we have Gwen and Dragon's Breath spam.
Decent enough strat, I'd say. It's very consistent, very good for Black Border, but the peak is very, very low. Like, you're not going to get much more out of it than a standard Black Border run.
Easy enough.
Yeah, yeah, Chom, what do you think of this one if you're done with fiending over those these peanut butter cups?
Wait, what is it?
Dragon Breath spam with Gwen.
It's like not really that good, I feel like. But,
Yeah, it's probably like a C tier, honestly.
I mean, I kind of would put it like very low of C to high D.
Like, it can be very good for some easy Black Borders, but outside of that, you're not going to get much else from it.
Yeah, like on advanced maps, like even like the easier advanced maps, it's gonna struggle a bit. So
I mean, I did a quad guide with it, but that's mostly just quad being free. So yeah, it's like, it's not too bad. It could be a lot better.
you put it in C.
So, C tier is fair.
We can make all the Dragon's Breath 032s, giving them more pierce and camo detection. Just make sure you have a way of popping purples, especially the camo ones. And even after getting a bunch of wizards, you'll have a ton of money left over. So buy some compliments or upgrade one of them to a Wizard Lord Phoenix. All right, to follow that, we have Rosalia and the special poperations.
This is like maybe one of the highest skill strategies in the entire game to pull off, and it's so satisfying when you pull it off, but it is not for the light of heart. Very often when you're doing a run with these 2 towers, Chom Chom will know you're microing Rosa, the Marine, the Heli itself, and like 4 other abilities at the same time.
You have to get like crazy lucky with it's like a Deadeye 2 in there, right?
Usually you'll have a Bounty Hunter, yeah.
Oh, Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter will get Rosalia black popping, right?
Yeah, which is very useful because she can't pop DDTs with her grenade normally.
Yeah, so stuff like that and a lot of micro.
It's really, really strong, but it's so hard to use, so it really has to be knocked down for that. On maps where you can just lock the heli in place and put your Marine in the same spot constantly, it can be pretty good, but at the same time, you're still going to have to be spamming it off cooldown while also probably using some Rosa abilities. So I'd give it B tier. It's such a high peak, but it's not that good generally, and on some maps, it really falls off.
I had no idea about this strat until you put it in the top.
Oh, yeah, I did a really crazy bloody run with it. Chom Chom did a cool workshop run with it. I did a Muddy Puddles run with it as well. It's very powerful, but it kind of requires a specific set of circumstances to be good. And you have to be microing a lot, so.
Fair. I have a feeling the B-roll will be some of me locking it in place and some of your guys' run.
I don't have a recording. Chom Chom has like a full video of it on his channel.
I do have a video of it on Workshop.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Etienne and the Moab Domination.
Etienne is definitely not the only hero you can pair with Moab Dom. You can put like most heroes with it and it'll do very well, but once you get a Moab Dom and overclock it, if the map has less than 3 lanes, you just win. That save up is a bit tricky though. That's why Etienne tends to be pretty good for it.
Yeah, this is the one that I ended up, I believe it was your guide that we beat Ravine with this combo.
That was with Oben.
It was with Oben, but the overclocked Moab Domination.
Yeah.
And yeah, the second you got that, it was over. It was awesome.
Yeah. It's so cool. I am biased because I do like Etienne and Moab Dom a lot, so I'm not sure if I should be like the one ranking this, but realistically, it's probably like mid to low B, just because the save up can be a bit tricky and it doesn't work on every map just because it'll fall off a cliff after a certain point.
Sure.
Of, like adding lanes.
Makes sense. All right, back to Rosalia. We have her and the Apache Prime.
This one's also pretty good, but yeah, go Chom Chom.
I really like this for black borders because the biggest weakness of Apache Prime in a black border is doing the save up, but Rosalia makes this a lot easier just by making the Apache Prime so much cheaper that it's very easy to get an Apache Prime before round 80 with Rosalia, and then you get that so early, everything else is just free. So I think it's perfect for just any like single lane black border. Very, very easy, very cool. That's all I really have to say about it.
The optimal runs with it, they're okay, but Apache Prime still has so many weaknesses to where outside of black borders, it's hard to make good use out of it.
Yeah, I want to say the last time I did this, I got it late 70s, the Apache Prime. It was on Bazaar, so like a very easy map, but maybe it was 79. But yeah, it just crushed the whole way through, never a worry. And then you had so much money to spend in the late game that it was just absolutely free. All right, with that,
like B tier probably. It's very consistent, very good, but the peak isn't very high.
so mid B,
Yeah, probably mid B.
around the Sky Shredder,
Probably around the Sky Shredder, yeah.
works for me. All right, next up, we have Striker Jones and Moab Mauler Spam.
Okay, spamming Moab Maulers with Striker and a primary expertise, once you get like a certain amount of Moab Maulers and a few assassins, you just win. You just straight up win.
It's also my profile picture.
True.
But it used to be the meta for a good amount of time. Do you remember that, Dorio? Is that pre-Dorio?
Like, I've watched old videos on it. I remember hearing something about it, but I wasn't like in the community enough to know.
It used to
It's
have
pretty Dorio.
extra ceramic damage.
It did. That was the reason why it was strong. It could kill ceramics. The Moab Maulers could kill ceramics, but now they don't anymore. So
Yeah, now you need a Bloon Impact to do it, but that thing has been buffed so much,
it was
so
pretty good.
yeah.
But yeah, I always upgrade all of the Maulers to assassins eventually. I feel like the Maulers alone are kind of weak, but with
not that
that
bad.
together, it's pretty strong.
It's
I like
very good. It's very consistent. There aren't too many abilities you have to use. Most of the time, you don't even have to spam Striker's stun. You can just use the level 20 occasionally and just erase everything.
Yep.
So, pretty good. Pretty simple build up, too. Nothing too crazy to deal with.
So where do you think we should put this thing?
A is probably fair. It's so map versatile. Like, probably low A. Definitely low A.
Like right around the
Yeah, just-
Permabrew?
For consistent play, it's just so powerful to where it's definitely around that.
Although it is in my profile picture, I don't use it as much as I should.
Yeah, I did a Mauler spam bloody run, and it was pretty good.
I've done a peck smaller, like optimized bloody thing, and it was really cool. I really like it. I just don't really use it as much as I should, considering that the Happy Mauler is my YouTube profile picture.
Yeah,
A very low res one taken on my iPhone 6, that is.
that's crazy.
Because the Maulers will pop all the blimps, you should add in a 420 bomb shooter in the back to handle all the ceramics that'll come flooding out. Also, a Moab assassin or two destroy the mid game as their ability one-shots BFBs. And once you have plenty of Maulers down, this is a very easy strat to work Apex into, giving you a ton of free upgrades and some more ceramic damage. Alright, moving on, we have Sib, Psi and the Blazing Sun.
Okay, you can't just win with Psi and a Blazing Sun. Actually, maybe you can now after it got lead popping, but you still kind of need something else to clean up ceramics because Blazing Sun won't really do that a lot of the time. You kind of have to get something else, but it's so cheap to where you can do a lot of stuff with it.
Is there anything in particular you would pair with it? Or is it really whatever you want?
I feel like
Like-
something that just does very general damage, like works pretty all around. Maybe a little
Yeah.
bit less single target is required, but
The way you go with it is either you go a ton of stalling or just something that does a little bit of extra damage. Usually that something that does a bit of extra damage can be like an Alk buffed Avenger or something like that. Usually that can work. And just other like general damage towers.
Bounty Hunter too, of course.
Bounty Hunter, you need that, yeah, because
Yeah,
it
that-
doubles Blazing Sun's single target with the
Yep.
Market Pop, or Mark to Pop, not Market Pop. It's not
Market
Markiplier.
Pop.
Oh, I actually have not
Markiplier.
heard of this. So you just use the ability on tough rounds and the Blazing Sun does
Yeah.
more?
What the Mark to Pop does is if you set it to strong, it'll mark every ZOMG, and Desperados deal double damage to marked balloons, so it just destroys round 100 even harder.
Oh, and I'm assuming that soaks through even blimp layers, or no?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, sad. I was hoping.
I wish it did. That would be cool, but it doesn't.
Gotcha. So it just tears through the tanky layer.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we putting them?
It's so general and can do so. You can pair so much with it to where it's just very versatile. Probably like mid to high B.
Perfect.
Like it's good, but it's nothing spectacular.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Especially for how cheap it is. All right. After this, we have Is it Permabrew Druids?
Just Permabrew Druids, Permabrew Pop Lusts, about the same thing.
Gotcha.
So how this strat works is it's pretty much just, so you'd go for an Avatar of Wrath, except you don't buy Avatar of Wrath, you buy Permabrew instead, and you have an easier late game. That's the only thing. It's just kind of better now that Permabrew is so cheap, which is
Do you still
kinda
pair them
funny.
with Oben, I assume?
Always with Oben, yeah. You need that extra
Yeah.
pierce and attack speed on the Druids.
Gotcha.
It is really good. I like it, and I mean, there's not really much more to say. It's a different approach. Both of the builds, they kind of work the same way. It's just you either will buy a Permabrew or an Avatar Wrath at a certain point, and because they're so similar, I think that actually really bumps it up a lot, because a lot of people are really used to getting Avatar Wrath, and it is arguably stronger than Avatar Wrath 2.
I'd say it is stronger. Every
Yeah.
time I've used it, except on like specifically Ravine, but that doesn't count, it has felt like an easier and simpler late game where I've had to buy less support.
Yeah.
It's just simpler as well.
After you go the
cool.
Permabrew, is there anything specific that you always get, or is it just general
After-
support?
Honestly,
can
just
fit-
like
Yeah.
maybe just like a Moab glue and then more druids. If you have all the pop lusts, you can do 013 druids instead that are cheaper.
Yeah, if you have 5 Pop Lusts already, or 6 actually, because you want all of them to buff each other, but if you have 6 Pop Lusts already and you don't really need any like crazy dedicated support and you just want more single target or just more group damage, you go for that 013 Druid spam. But also
Gotcha.
a Relentless is nice.
All right, I've never done this, and I'm looking forward to trying this one out.
Try it on Ouch, especially. Like if you want to
It's-
do a hard map, it's super easy on Ouch.
It's very fun and very easy. As I said, a lot of people are probably used to doing the Avatar Wrath strategy. You basically do the same thing, but before you buy Avatar Wrath, you just buy Permabrew instead. And it's literally that simple.
Nice.
You don't have to get a camo village though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Because of
Oben
Oben?
does give camo. And something else that's funny you can do is a lot of the time you'll have enough money after buying Permabrew just to buy an Avatar of Wrath anyway. So yeah, you can combine them.
I feel like, yeah, that's something that I would have done in the past, is just gone for the Avatar of Wrath anyway. That was like when the Spirit of the Forest like got buffed and then people started doing that strat. I just ended up buying both.
I used to do that a lot too. That's how I did a ton of black borders.
The good old days. All right, so with Permabrew Druids, where are you guys gonna rank it?
What do you think on this one, Chom Chom?
A tier.
Yeah, probably.
Like above Pop Sidon?
Probably. I think it's between. Actually, it's probably better than Maulers as well.
Gotcha.
I'd put it at least above T-Rex.
Oh.
Okay.
Does that mean above the Gwen Snipers too, or just the sniper spam?
I'd put Gwen Snipers above T-Rex too.
I'd move T-Rex down like a few small spots, but yeah.
Like right here-ish?
I'd
One more
honestly
spot,
put T-Rex in B tier, but you seem to.
I think the potential is just so high, I think it kind of has to be A. But yeah. Avatar of Wrath, it's just the same thing but worse. So is it just B?
Easy enough. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like we already talked basically about the strats. So is it high B,
Yeah.
mid B?
High B. It's like about the same thing. It's worse than Bez because Bez is the best. But yeah.
One thing we have to think about with the Avatar of Wrath is lead popping power. The Permabrew solved this in the last strat, but here I like to get a Glue Storm, Super Brittle, or both to make sure DDTs aren't a problem.
And now we have yet another Permabrew strat, Permabrew Super Monkey Fan Club. This thing is so good. It's so powerful.
I've also never used this one.
So
It's fun.
it's fun. I feel like it isn't like that effective compared to other things at least you can do with Permabrew, but it is really fun to do. And especially I did this run on Geared where I put Permabrew in the middle cog and then just had a bunch of darts just line the entire
That's
ring.
funny.
And then you just get the Super Monkey fan clubs. You can Chinook them over to where the spot is, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. What, like, the thing that I usually, the thing I usually do if I'm going for a Permabrew Super Monkey fan club, it's not like gonna win you the game on its own. With Permabrew, you still kind of need something else to help out a little. Usually that can be as much as just Quincy. If you have Quincy, Permabrew, and like 2 Super Monkey fan clubs, that has almost full uptime on the ability. And if you upgrade all of your darts to like 220 or triple shot, even 230, that'll just it shreds so hard.
I'm actually so looking forward to playing all of these strats I've never tried before.
Yeah, a lot of them are fun. Some of them are very annoying, but we don't have to talk about those.
All right, you kind of hyped it up. Where do you think it ends up going though?
I think it shreds, but it's like timing the abilities can be a bit tricky sometimes. So I'd say probably like right above Avatar of Wrath and B tier, I think, because it's really, really good, but it's a bit tricky to set up, especially because you have to spam a bunch of towers as well. And the positioning, getting everything in a village range can be a bit annoying. It's not that bad, but it's
right. Yeah, it takes a lot of prep. You have to gotcha
plan it out.
Fair enough. All right, next we have a classic, a fan favorite of the beginners at least, which is Prince of Darkness and Ezili.
I love Prince of Darkness. I think it's even an underrated tower.
Oh,
Good, but
I'd give it even an A tier.
yeah, it's not that crazy.
this one I am super biased on. Prince of Darkness was my favorite tower back before it got buffed to being good. Like when the game came out,
okay.
I wanted this guy to be the best.
So like when you say when the game came out, are you talking like Soulbind?
Yeah.
Ooh, you were a Soulbind fan.
Oh yeah. The second I unlocked this
that
tower,
goes way back.
the second I unlocked the tower, I just liked how it looked and I liked the idea of it. So it instantly was like that and the Bloonsolver were my 2 favorites.
You like the idea of sacrificing your towers for lives. So when stuff leaked, you could survive and then you die to the next round.
Yep.
Immediately.
It was ideal.
But yeah, I absolutely love Prince of Darkness. I still see people like saying that it's like not a good tower, and I'm like, that's crazy because it is really good and really awesome, and it can do so much. And with the Ezili too, it's pretty darn good, really good synergy. So I'd give it an A tier.
I don't like it as much, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I mostly encounter a lot of issues with Prince of Darkness. Like sometimes a zombie BFB will kill a Moab layer. And because that zombie BFB can't re-hit the ceramic, sometimes it just goes through and you die randomly, even though pod is like a cleanup tower. That can be a bit of an issue, but it's not usually that big of a problem.
I did not know that was a thing. I don't think I've ever encountered that. I did not know it couldn't re-hit.
It happens a lot more on multi-lane maps where you don't have just all of the zombie blooms on the same lane.
Right. That makes sense.
So like A tier is probably justified, but
All right. I'll put it A. I can't disrespect him.
fair.
This combo gives the zombie balloons extra pierce, making the prince one heck of a cleanup tower as long as you can keep his graveyard full. I like to use Ezili's hacks on ZOMGs as they normally take a while to break open, and ideally they pop close to the wizard, and you need to get some single target damage to help with the bad.
Ooh, okay, finally we have another bad one. Superstorm.
Whoa, what's a superstorm?
I don't know, I've never heard of it actually.
All right, Monarch of the Storm.
This is like D tier material. The save up is awful, and even then, even with the buffs, you just don't win because round 100 exists, and that's just annoying to deal with. And this is the one thing because of the change, the main thing I hate about it isn't even like the name change. The thing I hate most is they made it damage bad. This sounds good, but in reality, what it'll do sometimes is the Superstorm, it's kind of goes back to the pod re-hit thing. Superstorm can't re-hit either, so if a tornado does damage to the bad, that same tornado can't blow back the insides as soon as the bad pops.
Oh.
Which has been really annoying in a few runs.
Oh, that explains a lot now.
Yeah.
I'd had this run where I was really trying to get like a snipe because I was like, okay, it can bounce off the wall and hit the like ZOMGs and DDTs inside, but it wouldn't blow them back no matter what, so I was forced to buy 2 first strikes for round 100. But yeah.
I think I told Rohan about that, and he was like, oh, that shouldn't be in the game. So hopefully we'll get a fix on that, but I'm not sure if we will, because it's a really annoying problem, and I would like to see that removed. So I would put it in D tier just because it's just tricky and sometimes even inconsistent, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like that. I hope that gets removed because that does feel like it goes against the point of the tower. Oh well. Moving on, we have the Master Bomber.
Very good tower. Just really good all around. It works on pretty much any map once you can save up to it because it's global, and all you need pretty much, like even if you only have your Master Bomber on one lane and you have another lane that's like on the other side of the map, it'll still defend if you have some form of Saram cleanup on the other side, like a Bloon Impact. That's usually all you need for it to defend if you have 20 Shinobis, which is crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, generally very good tower, very good for black borders as well, because the save up is pretty simple with the Bloon Jitsu 20 Shinobis mid game. So yeah, I'd put it A just because of how versatile and how powerful it can be. The skill ceiling isn't very high with it. Actually, there is some weird micro stuff you can do to get it to blow up things in specific ways, but that usually doesn't make too much of an impact.
Gotcha. I was not sure how good this was at the higher levels, so I was afraid to rank it, but
very good.
Nice.
Pairs well with quite a few different heroes.
Where in A were we thinking?
I'd say low A, but not like the exact bottom. What do you think, Chom Chom? I think you've used this a few times, right?
What is it?
Master Bomber.
I like Master Bomber. Yeah, I'd say A tier. Pretty good. It's really, really fun to use, and the bombs that fly everywhere, it like vomits bombs is a good way to describe it. I mean, like, who else can vomit bombs?
Ace Paragon.
Yeah. Flying Fortress.
Yeah. The main cool thing you can do with micro for Master Bomber to make it better is if you set it on last, everything will just blow up at once, which means sometimes that's very good, but sometimes that'll also just pierce cap everything and you're cooked. So there is kind of a balance there.
Wait, why does setting it to last blow everything up at once?
Because what it'll do, setting it on first a lot of the time will, so if a BFB pops into 4 Moabs, it'll put a sticky on each of those 4 Moabs, but only one of those stickies will actually end up blowing up the Moabs because the splash will kill the Moabs anyway. So if you put it on last, that'll spread it to as many different outer layers as possible, which should just blow up everything at once.
That's wild.
It's a bit annoying to deal with though, because sometimes that'll just kill you, but
that's a future problem. It's
a balance.
That's funny. All right, I'm gonna try that. All right, next we have the OG 2TC. I feel like this is what everyone did to get the achievement, but the Prince of Darkness Apache Prime.
I have no idea. I've never used this, so I can't say anything about it.
My first 2TC was Oben Anti-Bloon.
Of course it was.
It's a very, very interesting combination. Back when Oben was $650.
Okay, now talk about Pod A Prime instead of
Pod A Prime. It's really good too, really easy. Prince of Darkness, I guess, just kills the DDTs. It's like a very no-skill strategy, I'd say, and it works. So that's really all that matters, I guess, for a no-skill strategy.
Yeah.
I'll give it a B tier just because it's no skill.
All right,
B or C, yeah.
B was what I was thinking, so I'm on board with
fair.
that. If your prince isn't at the very start of the track, the Apache Prime can pop Bloons outside of his graveyard and weaken your defenses. Normally this isn't an issue, but if you're on a harder map, you can take the Helipilot off pursuit and manually pop the Bloons inside the range of the prince to keep it full. All right, this one, I have no idea how it works, but you put it in the doc.
It's such a meme strat. It's so bad, but it's so good.
This is an absolute pain to use, and it somehow works if you like just start crying enough.
So is it spamming bounty hunters?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Dead eyes.
Dead eyes.
Well, you need a bounty hunter anyway, but with the primary mentoring, you give them a stupidly big range, and you can just keep using the Deadeye ability on all of the other ones to give them even more range. And because they attack faster, the fewer Bloons are in range, they'll just constantly kill stuff and keep that really high attack speed. And there's so many. It's kind of just like any other spam strategy, but infinitely dumber and somehow slightly better.
Interesting.
It's pretty map versatile, but it's very annoying to use, and the placement, you need a lot of space for it.
Sure.
So I'd say C just because it's like a complete meme, but it's also actually kind of decent.
Like mid C or bottom C?
Mid C. The other issues with it are it's so inconsistent. It's really, really inconsistent because of the crits. So maybe actually move it down a bit to like bottom of C.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the crits, because once you start to have a ton of Deadeyes, crit RNG doesn't really matter because they'll start to cancel each other out pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have only a few of them, it matters a lot, and the mid game can suck with that.
That makes sense. Gotcha. All right, this one was referenced several times earlier in the tier list, but we finally made it to Geraldo Robos. or just robo spam if that matters at all.
Yeah. Chom Chom, you know a lot more about this than I do. I haven't used this.
So yeah, so it's like the Sun Avatars, but just a lot better. It's easier to go into the first Robo than the first Sun Avatar. What you can do is you can have one 032 and then the rest being 230, so those purples aren't an issue. With the cape, you can really get a ton of them under a single triple discount, and they'll go pretty crazy. And then with just one Glue Storm, they'll do a lot of damage. It's really, really versatile. You can do it modular, set up to all that and all the Jerry stuff. I just say it's a good strategy. When Jerry was like in its heyday, you'd see like this for black borders with like snipers too and stuff. I think it's still pretty good and very effective and can be used on a lot of difficult maps too. I think it was when Mapless was like first introduced, this was another big thing in Mapless, I believe, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't use the strat, so I can't comment much. What do you think,
I like it. I'd give it a B tier.
Like high B?
Middle B.
Middle B it is.
Damn, B tier has 3 rows now.
Let's go. All right, next up we have Rosalia Com Com.
This is a weird one. I don't like this very much because I would rather pair the Comanche Commander with like another hero, like Etienne or sometimes even Pat, or even Geraldo sometimes. But with Rosa, it can work. The discount is nice, and the extra damage she gives is also pretty good.
Is there any different playstyle between Rosalia or getting Pat or
Not really. You still want a Glue Storm no matter what with the Comanche Commander, pretty much. So there's not too much flexibility. You pretty much need a Glue Storm with Comanche.
Gotcha, just because of how many darts it shoots?
Yeah, because it shoots so fast, each dart does so little damage, you need that Glue Storm to buff its damage drastically. The ceramic cleanup is also very nice, because this tower is not very good at them. I would say Rosa is probably, now that I think about it a little more, the extra damage that Rosa gives is probably more useful, like the damage she provides to the setup, not the damage buff she gives, because she doesn't damage buff, but the extra damage she provides is fairly nice, especially on Grenade with Glue Storm.
Makes sense.
So yeah, Chom Chom, do you have anything to say about this one or no?
No, not really.
Is this another one going in B, or would you say
probably.
C?
I think it's worse. I think it's C, but like it's not very versatile, and it's just kind of
Fair enough. All right, following that up, we have Silas, Super Brittle, and Super Monkey Fan Club.
Okay, this one is completely broken. It's like one of the best strats in the game because Super Brittle is absurdly good right now. Super Monkey Fan Club has been buffed a bit, so it's pretty good. And with Silas, like, who's arguably the best hero in the game, it's absurd. So I feel like this is a very easy S tier. Just the strat is so powerful at its peak, and also isn't even that hard to use because even though it is Super Monkey Fan Club and the timing can be a bit tricky, the strat is so cheap that it gives you so much money to where you can do like anything else.
Dude, that's my type of strat.
Yeah, I think this is a very easy S tier.
Do you agree, Chom Chom?
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, it's simple. There's nothing too crazy.
Easy enough. Once again, we know that we can mix and match a ton with Silas strategies. Using Icicle Spam will power level Silas in the mid game and make it easy to pick up a Super Monkey Fan Club and a Super Brittle or two. All right, next up we have Geraldo and Druids.
I'm guessing this is for the Jerry Fire interaction.
I assume so.
It's pretty
weaker than the
good.
Shinobi one, I feel like, right?
I think it's better than the Shinobi one because it doesn't really require a Grand Sabo to be good. It does require a Glue Storm, sort of, but
I
feel
used
like it's
this
better.
before and I just felt like it was weak.
I think if you have a Glue Storm and just some extra damage, it can be pretty good. So yeah, I think it's generally decent overall.
So probably just slot it into B tier.
I'm not even sure if it's like a whole tier above the Shinobis. I think it's just low C or high C.
Also, because you're using Jerry, you don't have open buffs on the Druids.
Yeah, you're not even like most of the damage isn't coming from the Druids at that point though. It's mostly from the Jerry Fires.
I don't really think the Jerry Fires do that much.
With 5 Pop Lusts, they do a lot.
Yeah, I think in that ouch run, we had like 8 Jerry's Fires down and things did not get far at all.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to do it again.
Yeah, it's cool.
I've used it a few times, and I thought it was pretty unremarkable. Maybe
now we've
just
got-
I'm unremarkable.
Geraldo is a very expensive hero when you add in all of the money you spend on items, but as long as you're not going for an optimized run, that doesn't really matter. Especially in this strategy, I place as many fire potions as I can on round 91 and up because they'll last the rest of the game, and I spam other items like turrets, genies, and rejuve potions. Moving on, we have Gwen and Tack Spam, or Gwen Tack Zone and Overdrives.
It's pretty good. You're probably going to be pairing it with a Super Brittle now, so Gwen's buff does a little less, but the extra Pierce is still very useful even if you have a Super Brittle. It's just really good, really simple, pretty consistent for the most part because you're using tack shooters. They can't really fire in the wrong place. So yeah, if you get the dead zone by putting them below the track, it'll just shred most things.
Easy enough. Yeah, I feel like it's hard to go wrong with this one. And also, like,
Yeah.
every save up is free. The first 4 tiers are so cheap. After you get a
Yeah.
couple, you can really save up for whatever you want, assuming you're not on like a super difficult map.
Yeah, it's so powerful that like overdrives can be your primary source of damage for the entire game. Like you don't even need to get a tier 5 sometimes, because if you alk buff them and get like an embrittlement or like a glue strike or a glue storm with the primary training, it'll just shred everything. You don't barely even need anything else.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think like mid to low B, just because it kind of does require a good map for it.
Sure.
And it's the main problem is like you're gonna run out of good tack spots eventually. So
Yeah, I feel like anytime I run out of tax, I end up getting a PEX for no real reason. I just have
That's
extra money
fair.
and I run out of space, and that's what I default to.
you have tried the primary expertise.
That is fair. It's never like, it's always my, oh, I have 27k left over. It'd be nice.
Primary expertise.
Yep. All right. Very similar strat. We have the Pat Zone.
Except I think this one has slightly less versatility actually, just because actually never mind. It's about the same. Now that I think about it,
But
it's about the same.
basically the same strat, different hero.
Same strat, different hero. Except with Pat, you can also incorporate the very awesome Pat Overclock strat. So
Yes, I've always loved Pat Fusty. Anytime I can work him into a strat, I do my best to.
yeah,
All right, next
Pat
up.
pairs pretty well with Tack Zone.
Darn right he does. If Pat is in front of my defenses, I like to put him on strong so that he stuns the tanky bloons longer. But if he's in the back, like in this clip, I like to keep him on first to clean up anything that gets through. All right, following that up, we have Gwen and the Inferno Ring.
This one's like, it's good, but it's also kind of bad because Gwen is by far the best hero for Inferno Ring, but that also doesn't mean she makes a very good combo with Inferno Ring. The save up can be very tricky sometimes, especially on a map harder than like Ancient Portal. The getting Moab damage for the save up can be a bit tricky, and even after that, you kind of just have to spam buffs onto the eye ring for it to survive late game.
Yeah, I feel like I've just kind of forced it into runs ever since Gwen started buffing Fire Monkeys. But like you said, I've always struggled with the save up, and it's not like there are just several other strats on here that are easier at basically every stage of the game.
For sure, yeah. It's a pretty simple strat, but you still have to get like an overclock, call to arms, more stuff like that to even have a chance of it winning.
So with that, I think in
it's like
low C or
tier,
D.
maybe D. C or D. I would go D because we need to put some more stuff in D tier. But
All right, top of D
pretty
it
empty
is.
tier.
All right, another Fire Monkey. We have the Bloonsin.
I really like Bloonsin. I think it's awesome. But also, it's like, in my opinion, it's the hardest mortar to micro because it doesn't seem like it. It attacks pretty slow with the better cross path, which is 205. It attacks slower. So you think it would be easy to micro, but it's hard to find a balance between where you want to get the Bernie stuff damage on the Moabs and the Wall of Fire damage on big Moabs, and the balance where you want the Wall of Fires for cleanup. Like, a lot of the time you kind of have to cycle your shots between the actual Bloons and the back to have Wall of Fires to clean stuff up.
Sure. I never thought about that, yeah.
It's tough to micro. There are some crazy runs. I can send you one where I can send you one to put as like B-roll maybe
Let's go.
of Bloonsin on Bloody Puddles, and it's crazy hard to use.
Is it like every shot you go back and forth?
I don't really know. I haven't done it as much, but it is very technical and precise micro to do a lot of the time.
Gotcha. So super
And
high
if you're
skill
not-
ceiling.
Yeah,
And
high
then
skill ceiling, but you don't actually get that much from the high skill ceiling. It pairs. You don't want to use Gwen for this, even though she buffs fire monkeys. You want to use Striker. So yeah, but if you can like put it on like a bend or something, it just wins without micro, because the walls of fire are so good. And if you pair it with like a stim, probably I think you want stim specifically, not just Berserker Brew, because kind of how it works for biggest one with the stuns, Alk buff double dips on Bloonson, because it'll buff the attack speed and it'll also buff the wall of fires a ton, so you get even more walls of fires that are massively buffed.
Sure, gotcha.
I feel like I want to say B for Bloonson, but it's also probably C tier. So
all right, we'll put it in C.
Because if you can get like a loop or just a single entrance map, even with just like a slight curve, it'll just shred everything if you put it at the front with an Alk buff.
Yeah, that does make things nice. All right. Next up, we have the Grandmaster Ninja, buffed by, I assume, 20 Shinobis.
Usually you want 20. With Master Bomber, you can afford to go a few less Shinobis, but with Grandmaster, you need all 20 pretty much. Yeah, I think it's about on the same tier as Master Bomber. If anything, it's slightly worse, but it's about the same.
Gotcha. Is there a specific hero you want to pair him with?
Yes. You usually want to pair it with a damage buffing hero, like Pat, Gwen. Probably Geraldo's probably your best bet, actually. But Pat or Gwen, those two heroes are going to help a ton. Sometimes if... This is another funny play that's very, very recent. Sometimes you can get away with using Etienne, because sometimes you don't have enough space near your Grandmaster to put Shinobis, so him giving them more range can be really good.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not great. Usually you'll want Pat, Gwen, or Geraldo.
Sure.
You can also make Oben work, because he also does the same thing as Etienne, but with the range buff. But yeah, it's about as good as Master Bomber, I'd say.
Gotcha.
About as versatile, but slightly less so.
Makes sense. With the Grandmaster Ninja, you need to make sure you have lead popping power for the DDTs. The easiest way is a MIB, but much better is a Glue Storm, as we'll have tons of low damage shurikens flying all over the place. Alright, next up is the XXXL Trap, which I feel like is just a
this
flex.
thing got bug fixed, and the bug fix was a pretty hard nerf to it.
It's so bad now, yeah.
Yeah. It used to, I didn't know it was a bug, but you used to be able to like collect it manually, and the trap just would go off and off and off every time you collected it, but apparently that was a bug. Now it doesn't do it, so there's like a delay in between, and it won't be able to just eat all of 98, because it used to be able to do that. That was like really the only good thing about it, just being able to eat all of 98. Now it can't do that, so I mean, just like at least D tier.
I've seen some people, maybe even F. I'd see some people pair it with Corvus and use Corvus to just carry the awful mid game you have with Balloon Trap, and then use Corvus as overload to just kill the BFBs on 98, so you can still eat the ZOMGs, but it's just not very good. I think it's probably F.
Gotcha.
Like, it's an expensive tower, it does nothing to round 100, and then it'll also struggle to everything else after.
That sounds perfect. What are you talking about?
Like the Tsar Bomba.
All right. Next up, we have Rosalia and Spectre Spam.
Okay, I am not the correct person to ask about this strategy, because Spectre is my least favorite tower in the game, like by far. I hate it so much. So, Chom Chom, what do you think of this one?
So I actually think I've done a few videos of this. I did like meme videos where it's like, here's 5 specters on flooded valley chins. That obviously is a really bad thing to do, but what I found actually kind of good was if you had like 2 specters with an Icicle Impale, it kind of really tamed out a lot of Spectre's weaknesses, clumped things up pretty well so they can use their Pierce better, and then Rosalia kind of just brings everything together. And I actually kind of liked it. I think it works out pretty well, and it's a cool way of using Specters. So yeah, I'd honestly give like that kind of idea a thumbs up. So it's like either Call to Arms with that, or like Icicle Impale with that, and I'd give that like a B tier, maybe like lower in B tier, but it had a really easy early game, really easy mid game, really fun late game. So yeah, I like it.
Oh wow.
I don't think it translates very well to like harder maps, like harder.
Yeah, it doesn't
maps.
work on like harder maps, but for everything else, like on something that has 2 lanes, you kind of can get it to work out if you have 2 specters. You'll be able to mostly take care of stuff, but
it's just weird.
I honestly like it.
I hate it, but that's just me. So
I'd give it like a low B tier.
All right, I'll put
Low
it
B.
at the bottom of B. How does that sound?
I think it's just about that tier, yeah.
I'm actually looking. I've never
Okay.
paired the Spectre with an Icicle Impale. I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, Spectre Impale kind of works the same as other strats like Solver Impale or Glaive Lord Impale. It works just as good as those two. Actually, slightly worse because Spectre does less damage than those two, but it works similar to those for the most part.
All right, on to the final two. We have Striker Jones and the Bomb Blitz.
Okay, as of recent, this thing is completely broken. Like, easiest, very easy S tier. Because Ninja Kiwi thought it would be a good idea. Oh yeah, let's make Bomb Blitz a Tsar Bomba, except it also has a main attack and it's way cheaper. And you can also refresh the ability with Striker level 20 and make it do double damage. It's really, really good. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than that. It's a very safe, very consistent black border. Because a lot of the time, what I've been testing a few things with it. I'm probably not going to release these because they can be a little inconsistent, which is the main issue. But on anything easier than like the hardest of maps in the game, you don't even need the ability most of the time, and you can just have it as like, in case something leaks, everything just dies. So even it's a insanely good way to prevent RNG, and it's just so good.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing, and I didn't even know Striker could reset its ability. That's wild.
Yeah, he does, which is even more valuable now that they made the cooldown 60 seconds. So yeah, now that the cooldown is 60 seconds, having Striker be able to refresh that is so nice.
Mhm.
Especially considering the double damage on the main attack will also just make it do an absurd amount of damage.
How
with the main
long?
attack.
How long is Striker's cooldown on his level 10?
Level 20? It's like 75 seconds.
So if you trigger the Bomb Blitz's ability, do you just insta click his, or do you like see if it's needed?
Usually what I do is the second my first Bomb Blitz goes off, if I think I'm gonna need a second one that round, I'm just gonna pop the level 20 straight away because I can get the cooldown on that going back.
Makes
as
sense.
well. Yeah, it's very good, but a lot of the time you don't even need Striker with the Bomb Blitz. Sometimes I was gonna do a quad guide with this where I just take Bomb Blitz, shove it into like an already existing strategy, and use it as like a round 98 solution. Just let it destroy everything with one ability.
Just put it into a Silas Icicles.
I mean, yeah, you could do that. You can put it into like pretty much anything. It's so versatile because you can just kind of use it as a nuke to destroy like one of every few rounds.
Yeah,
it's
that's
so powerful.
That's
now.
an easy yes.
Yeah.
And for the final strategy, we have
F tier.
the. You don't like the Churchill carry?
I like this one.
I don't. I've had such bad experiences trying to make it work. So
Sanctuary chimps. I've
tried to do
done
it
this on Sanctuary at least like 5 times.
I tried to do this on Ravine with multiple Condors. It was so awful.
On Ravine, that's interesting. I mean, if
Yeah,
the map is Sanctuary, I love it, but
With Sanctuary, yeah, it's gonna be pretty good because he has that big area where he can just shoot down.
yeah, on other maps maybe not so much, but I would still like it.
Yeah, I don't like it very much just because I think it's pretty annoying to use because you're constantly spamming a bunch of abilities and stuff, which probably hurts its placement a little, but
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I have tried to get this to work many times, mostly because Chom Chom always tells me how great it is, and I have never had a good time doing it.
it's so bad.
All right, so outside of Sanctuary, where would you rank it?
Like, I'd say D, but I don't know what Chom Chom thinks.
You could rank it wherever you want.
All right, I'll put it mid D, but honorary. If you're on Sanctuary, it would be higher. How high would it
It's
be on
like
Sanctuary?
A tier probably.
Oh,
I was gonna make a guide with that, and it's pretty good.
huge. All right, so D tier, honorary A on Sanctuary. You love to see it. All right, well, I'll do the
That was
outro.
that was like 3 hours.
I
That
know.
was 3 hours straight. Yeah.
I did not know it was going to take that long,
I
but
also thought it would take less time as well.
thank you guys so much for helping. But that was a tier list of every strategy we could think of in BTD6. If you enjoyed the video, please go over to their channels and subscribe. They do some crazy runs and know much more about the game than I do.